added an extra boost. The Consumer Watchdog says planned changes to merger laws could lead to lower prices for all Australians. Under the reforms, the ACCC will be given more power to investigate and block mergers between companies. Businesses who don't notify the regulator could have their deal scrapped altogether. ACCC Chairwoman Gina Cass-Gottlieb says the changes will ensure there's fair competition between companies.
Stronger competition is important. It brings more choice, higher quality and lower prices for us all.
The Prime Minister says the creation of a Palestinian state could make the Middle East more secure. The federal government has given its strongest support yet for a two-state solution. It argues giving Palestinians their own nation could be a pathway to peace. But Anthony Albanese says terror group Hamas must have no role in the region's future.
They are an organisation that have not assisted either Palestinians as well as, of course, being committed to the destruction of the State of Israel. What we want is Israelis and Palestinians to be able to live in peace and security.
The benefits of music therapy are in the spotlight. Research suggests registered music therapists can help improve quality of life and health outcomes of people of all ages, abilities and backgrounds. Play Matters' Julia Oriopoulos says demand for the service is on the rise.
Music therapy has been having some increasing demand for quite some time in Australia. We find that music therapy is really beneficial for improving the brain development of children and supporting their growth and development, as well as improving the connection between parents and children.
And Ringo Starr has new music coming this week. The Beatles drummer will release the first single from his EP, Crooked Boy. Now turning to 5AA sport.
Armani, Canali, Xenia. Find them all at Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, 54 Paynham Road, Stepney.
Power forward Jeremy Finlayson has been suspended for 3 games for using a homophobic slur toward an Essendon player. The 28-year-old will also be required to attend and pay for Pride in Sport training. Matthew Nix says the Crows are making the most of their 9-day break between games. The club is yet to notch up a win heading into round 5. Well, the Matildas' preparations for the Olympics have gone to plan, beating Mexico 2-0 in the US. And the Sacca has paid tribute to honorary life member Jack Clark. He was a board member for more than 20 years and was also chair of Cricket Australia for 3 years, but has passed away. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Quite a few crashes out there at the moment, including Edwardstown on South Road, St Maurice on Glenburn Road, Woodville Gardens Hanson Road near Ridley Grove, broken down truck in Kent Town on Fullerton Road near the Parade West, urgent works in Dry Creek with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road. Speeds are at 40 affecting outbound. A speed camera as well, Blacksboro Gillis Plains. You wouldn't operate a chainsaw blindfolded, so why dig without searching before you dig first? If you don't, you're digging blind. Search before you dig online every time. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Cloudy this afternoon, partly cloudy tomorrow 22, Friday partly cloudy 21 and the same on Saturday. Right now it's 18 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Brenton Raglis. Tonight, murder mystery. A young man found dead in a western suburb street. See the security vision that provides a vital clue. The booming cybercrime, hitting the last place you'd look. Your super fund, how your power bills can now earn you free flights. And Made in SA, the classic chocolate bar making a comeback. 9 News. Your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and on 9 Now.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide. The 5AA Sports Show.
Get around the little bar!
Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
6 after 4 on this Wednesday afternoon, a big day for footy news, and not everybody is happy. Let's go through it all with the best in the business. Timmy G, Stephen Rowe, good afternoon.
Oh, thank you, Sammy. I'm still recovering from Scotty Camperali's 4-week statistic assessment of the Crows. It wasn't a good set of numbers. We'll take it up with Jimmy Bartel shortly. But a better set of numbers for, I guess, Port's Jeremy Finlayson, though. Timmy, 3 weeks in education. Welcome. Your thoughts off the bat?
Yeah, I think we spoke during the week, Stephen, that I thought it would land somewhere in between Tex and what happened to Clarkson just recently, and it sort of has. the issue I just spoke about with Stacey Lee was just, I think that the AFL just continue to have these inconsistencies, and that's where they bring themselves into question about, what about this, what about that. Now, the AFLPA...
The fairness rule.
We know that straight away. They're actually not happy.
No.
They've gone, hang on.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Here's the PAFC statement. The Port Adelaide Footy Club and forward Jeremy Finlayson accept the AFL's finding and subsequent sanction of a 3-game suspension for a homophobic slur during Friday night's game against Essendon. We're going to get footy manager Chris Davies on, but here's a bit of what he said in his presser.
We expected that the AFL would want to suspend Jeremy. We're in a situation, as we said from minute one, that we would accept whatever penalty that the AFL came up with, and that'll be our position from here. Well, it's the AFL's penalty, it's the AFL's opportunity to make a stand in regard to this, and clearly they've decided to do so, and we are supportive of that as a club.
I think that's strong as a club. They're not going to contest it, nor should they. That's where it is. You accept the rules. That's the code. There was a breach. As quick as Jeremy did jump to self-reporting, apologise and all that sort of stuff, the damage is done. The word's been said. Now I know in the real world, which is here, not the footy world, the real world, and I've been up for defamation on 3 accounts, and I've apologised immediately after. It means nothing. You've said it, you've defamed them. In this case, you've vilified. You've got to cop the penalty.
Yeah, I think sometimes the person does accept that apology, though, and I think it does.
That does help.
It does help. It definitely helps, because if you have no remorse, if you have no remorse in that situation,
but I
then
think
you
when
might
it's said,
cop more.
it's said. So, who has faith in the AFL's governance? It's just another example of rules for some and rules for others. And we're talking about comparing it, if you like, some to the tech sanction, 6 weeks, $20,000 fine. Way down the other end, Alistair Clarkson. Here's Port's Chris Davies.
Fair to say we think that both players and officials should be treated the same in this regard. We do think and we hope that there is consistency into the future.
And I'd agree with that. Now, the AFLPA has issued a statement.
Yeah, and pretty much they've opened with, Jeremy's words were unacceptable, hurtful, got no place in the game or society. It's then this line. However, we have fundamental concerns about this and historical AFL outcomes that result in discrepancies when sanctioning players in comparison to officials. So they're saying that, hang on, coaches aren't getting similar penalties to players. And it's this inconsistency that floats around that brings them under pressure.
And they're calling for an instant review, which I think's fair enough.
Yeah, well, that will be driven by the PA.
That will. They're asking for an instant review.
And they're probably saying, look, we're prepared to say, yep, this is not acceptable. We're prepared to say this is the penalty if you do so, or the rest of it. But it's got to be consistent.
Very much so. So has the AFL made a rod for their back? Who would like fairness and consistency? Well, I think we would. Have you say 8223 We've got a $100 Kent Town voucher to give away. So get to it.
That hotel, wow. What a hotel.
Town
great
hotel.
Meals, great cold beer always.
Yeah, it is. Crows have a 9-day break into the Carlton game this Saturday at Marvel Stadium. Plenty of time to work on what they're calling midfield forward connection or transition. Right now, by any measure, by any set of numbers, we heard them from Campo yesterday, they're 18th in the comp. It was put to Matty Nix at his weekly presser.
It's not our forwards, it's not mids or backs, it's a combination of our connection. At the moment we don't have that connection where it needs to be. And so against the teams that we've played, when we talk about Geelong and Melbourne, well, they're extremely well connected. So they're able to defend those moments. We've got to be better if we want to come out with the outcome in those games.
Okay, so for me, I'm sitting here, just along me with you, Timmy. We're in our sports room. We're doing all the numbers, doing some crunching. We've got Carlton this week. Hope that's a banana peel for them. We're just as likely to win it. But to fix that, for me, it's 2 things. And let's see if you agree. It's talent, obviously clearly talent, the person that kicks the ball inside 50, and then that system, method, and what we're calling shape, that buzzword last week. I'm going to say it's 80% talent and 20% system. And I'd love anybody out there to debate that with me. Do you think Port are having a problem with it, with Rosie, Butters and Horne-Francis?
I'm going to ask you right now, if it was, and we heard the stats, it was last year, what talent was different? Or is it more so about
numbers.
where the talent is playing?
Well, I have got a good set of numbers, and well done, Timmy, because you're spot on. Dawson attacks this year one connection. Last year, Dawson was an All-Australian. He was number 2 behind Myers for inside 50 connection. Number 2. Taylor Walker was in there, and he kicked 76 goals. There's half your problem. The other half is no Thilthorpe and Fogg's being Fogg. And I don't mean that derogatory, but Fogg's playing a Fogg type of game. So there's your problem. It's talent. For me, this is talent. There's a stat that's come out taking in the execution and difficulty of every kick this season. So it's the kick you bite off. Last year, Dawson and co, and Matt Crouch was way up the top with this. They bit the kicks off and kicked them. A lot of the players bit that kick off and kicked it. So according to Champion Data, the 5th worst person in the AFL for that right year is Jordan Dawson.
Yeah,
and the 6th worst is Matt Crouch.
Which
and the 19th worst is Rory Laird.
Which they weren't last
year. So don't go telling me it's system, method, connection and shape. If I hear the word shape, I'll spew up. It's your midfield. It's your talent in the midfield.
You better get a spew back. Because it's coming. It's a big word.
But am I wrong? The numbers don't lie. I'll hold them up the Foodland live stream. These are Champion Data stats. Compared this year to last year with the talent. And it's the same talent rolling through there.
We've heard a couple of times now that from players and coaches that opposition are now looking and doing their homework more on Adelaide because they had a concern about how good they were.
That's an effect.
So they probably have gone, well, hang on, what are they good at? What aren't they good at? And they're probably setting up.
Closing it down.
They're getting their shape right.
Yeah. Okay.
To either allow them to do something they're not good at.
You're right. It's never one thing. And it's too simplistic for me to sit here in the cheap seats and say it's 80% talent and it's 20% shape. Yeah, you've got an opposition. But let's look at the opposition in the first 4 rounds. None of them were in the top 8 except for Melbourne.
It was one out. Yeah.
Geelong weren't.
Year on
last
year.
year.
From 23.
Gold Coast weren't.
Yep.
Now, Geelong's playing ripper footy, and I get all that.
Yep.
But when you're making the same dumb decisions inside 50 and kicking it to the same defenders, and here's a trend, and Campo did it yesterday. We're kicking it inside 50, and they're marking it more than we are. No, come on.
Yeah.
Don't give me
and
shape.
Part of that is that we were talking about it, about being able to change direction.
Yeah, change lanes,
and the
45.
And the very good teams and very good midfields are able to do that. And that's what
Crows can't.
Not seeing that from Adelaide at the moment.
Taking in the execution and difficulty of every kick this season, Jordan Dawson is the 5th worst. Matt Crouch is the 6th. Last year they weren't even in the top 20.
No.
They're not hitting their kicks. That's talent. Hey, Port Adelaide, Finlayson's out. I mean, fancy being this club. Makes me want to spew up even more. Finlayson out, Ollie and SPP back.
Yeah, well,
that's simply not fair.
It's going to be a selection. When you're playing well, it is then selection does become harder. As we spoke about last night, when you're not playing well, lots of names get mentioned.
Correct.
And you're going, well, hang on, that particular player is not ready. So don't force that one upon us, But that's what happens when you're not playing well. When you are, it's like, how do you fit them all in? And that's where Port are at just at this moment with their 3-1 record.
Your 2 biggest bulls... Your 2
are available.
They're in my top 5 favourite players. They just go about it the right way, are back this week. So fantastic for Port. Have you say $100 Kent Town voucher to give away.
Well, it's a good
I want
price.
to give that away the first half hour. There you are.
Wow.
Let's give our 4:30 o'clockers of that. It was...
Pilco's back.
Pilco's back, Timmy. You looked at me. That face.
I hope John Blake's not listening.
I'm still into Blake, even I'm getting crickets there. But let's do it. 822 300 00.
Get on the phone and have your say. Chris Davies will join us a little later on to tell us all about the Port Adelaide Footy Club stance on this 3-match suspension. Jimmy Bartel at 5 o'clock. Where are they now later tonight? Wade Ormsby ahead of the Masters, which begins tomorrow night. Graham Corns is over there in the States. He's looking forward to enjoying that. We'll have to check in with him soon. And we have more Port Adelaide locker room tickets to give away later in the show. But if you want that $100 Kent Town hotel voucher, 8223 0000. Have your say.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
The Kluger 7-seat SUV is here to move your family and to move you at Jarvis Toyota's brand new home in Brighton Road, Somerton Park. It's an SUV that knows you expect practicality but want luxury and beautiful design too. There's no need to wait for the kids to grow up. You can have your dream car now. Take a test drive of the Kluger SUV today at Jarvis Toyota, now at Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Proudly celebrating 22 years of great deals.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Struggling with your CPAP therapy? Try the world's first auto-fitting mask from Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. Respirico Healthcare is offering the Fisher & Paykel Sleep Style device for 30% off, plus a free solo mask valued at $310. Visit one of 6 Respirico clinics and mention this ad to redeem this offer. Respirico Healthcare, proudly serving South Australia for 20 years. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Tina. The Tina Turner musical is rolling into Adelaide in 2 weeks. This heart-pumping production celebrates the inspiring life story of Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll. Featuring more than 20 of her iconic songs, Tina is guaranteed to raise the roof at the Festival Theatre. Opens April 24. Book at Ticketek. It's simply the best.
Holiday Wonders are celebrating new incredible day trips, including their magical Wonders of Safari tour with convenient departures from Adelaide City and Mitcham. Get up close with exotic and native animals at Monado Safari Park, one of the world's largest open safari zoos, while learning from an experienced keeper how they're being saved from extinction. Plus, enjoy a delicious morning tea and picnic lunch all included from just $140 per person. holidaywonders.com.au.
Where on earth is my wallet? Why is it that when you need something you can never find it?
At Sip and Save, we'll always have what you're looking for. Snap up hot offers like a Cooper's Australian Lager 24-pack for $57.99 or a Cooper's Dry 3.5% 24-pack for $46.99. You can expect more from Sip and Save. More deals, more range, more service. Prices may vary in country areas. Terms and conditions apply.
Sip and Save. There's more in store.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
20 minutes after 4, we have Chris Davies from Port Adelaide coming up at 4:45, so stay tuned for that. We've got a $100 Kent Town hotel voucher, though, for your calls in the meanwhile, 8223 0000. What do you think of the AFL's inconsistency? Jeremy Finlayson has been banned for 3 games. We'll get your thoughts straight after this. Let's check your roads.
Quite a few crashes out there at the moment, including Edwardstown on South Road, St Maurice on Glenburn Road, Woodville Gardens on Hanson Road near Ridley Grove, broken down truck in Kent Town. That's on Fullerton Road near the Parade West. Dry Creek's got urgent works with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road, speeds at 40 outbound, and a speed camera Grand Junction Road, Hope Valley. It's the 40 Winks 40-hour sale. Get up to 50% off store-wide when you shop online or in-store, but hurry, sale ends Sunday at 40 Winks, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
20 past 4, I think this text sums up the majority. Shame on the AFL, treating a homophobic slur less important than a racist one.
Let's go to Mount Barker. Paul, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know why we're all concerned about the AFL being inconsistent. We know that they're consistently inconsistent.
Well said.
With this particular episode with Jeremy, they're inconsistent with the penalties. You go to the umpiring, they're totally inconsistent there. They're consistently inconsistent with regards to the away teams. Well, the Victorian teams come over to South Australia, they get all the free kicks. We go over there. The AFL/VFL teams get all the free kicks. No matter what they put their finger to, it's totally consistently inconsistent.
No, well said, Paul. AFL equals Mr. Inconsistent. Hello, Luke.
Hello, how are you? I'm not talking about the Finlayson. You're talking the 0-4 for the Crows and the stats for the mids. where were Port last year when they were 0-4? What was the comparison with some of their mids?
Yeah, Luke, last year we didn't have that 0-5 start. It was the year before, 2022.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
1 in 3 at this stage.
Yeah.
Is it worth the comparison at all?
Yeah. Well, we can do some homework on that, Luke. As far as you mean, like just going inside 50 and the
with the mids you were talking about Crouch and the stats of Crouch and Dawson, etc. Where they ranked? Where was the Ports ranked?
Where
in
were
that
Port at
same
that
period?
time? Yeah, good question, because I reckon we play slightly different footy, and even back then I think Port did, because that first game against Brisbane was an absolute cracker, but we copped about 3 injuries in it. Lysette went down and Aaliyah went down and the like, so we do play slightly different footy,
I think
reckon.
they're 2 different problems.
Yeah, I reckon at the time, yes.
Yeah. One's talent, polish and class, and the other one's not. Hello, Mike.
How you going, boys?
Hey, Mike.
I was at the game, Port and Eston. I didn't see the incident between Jeremy and the Eston player, but afterwards you hear about all this slurring business. Do you know actually, in the heat of the battle, what happened between him and the Essendon player that made him say what he did? Was there a punch or was there a fight or what?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters, Mike, what led up to it. He could have punched him in the guts 15 times. He's used that word, and there's a code for it, and it's a no-go zone, and he's copped the penalty. Now, if Timmy punches me in the guts, punches me in the guts at a stoppage, and then I turn around and king hit him, you don't get in trouble, I do.
Yeah.
Very similar.
I know
This was words, not a fist, and he's copped 3. Now, some are saying that's unfair.
What you're saying is don't worry about what happened prior.
You can't.
Don't do that.
No.
Okay. Let's go to Chris at Park Hole. G'day, Chris.
Gentlemen, how you going? Listen, I don't think we can argue the severity of the sentence for Jeremy, but what makes us so mad, an earlier caller called it consistently inconsistent, it just makes your blood boil. And, they'll put a line in the sand now. There's no way on God's earth they're going to put a line in the sand when it involved Clarkson and the decision around him. The other thing I want to raise is, and I'm not sure where that's come up anywhere or not, but the guy who was involved in an incident on the weekend where he wiped the blood away from the nose of one of his teammates who was laying on the ground. His eyes were closed, this guy, I don't know whether he's unconscious or what, but he was bleeding, and Degoe tried to mask that and wipe the blood away. And my point is, you go to the AFL app, you won't see any reference to that. Mitch Cleary has reported on it and has said words to the effect of, no sanction, nothing to see here, in a sense. I'm paraphrasing what he said. And that's just another example where it just reeks of inconsistency. Another player who did that, and let's not forget why the blood rule was introduced in the first place. It wasn't a Mickey Mouse rule. Okay, the AIDS epidemic is not what it used to be, but there's still plenty of blood-borne illnesses, infections and the like, and the rule is still there. And for him to manipulate the situation like that, I think is terrible.
Yeah, Chris, you're right. A lot of people have had their say about that. I'm not quite au fait with the whole
I didn't see
thing
the
with
incident,
it. Yeah.
but in my head I'm trying to picture why he was trying to do it was
That's
to probably
right.
stop him being
having
removed
to go
on the
off.
ground.
It's late in the
But-
game, yeah.
But
That's
it's
right.
probably not a great practice.
No, thank you, Chris. The AFL's made a rod for their back. What's that nursery rhyme, the 3 pigs? The
Three
Daddy
little
Pig-
pigs?
Don't know the bears. Is it the bears?
Goldilocks and the 3 bears?
Goldilocks and the 3 bears.
Yes.
So Clarkson was too little. Taylor Walker's was too big. But Finlayson's is just right.
Oh, the porridge.
There you go.
Oh,
That was
right.
too hot.
Wow.
Well, I think the
Analogy.
Finlayson is right. I'm not going to attack that.
No, I see what you're saying.
But the Walker one was too severe, and the Clark, it was just right. That's what I think. Fairy tale. Or what do you call it? Nursery rhyme.
Yeah, nursery rhyme.
Love
Correct.
nursery rhymes.
Let's go to Rob at Heathfield. Rob, I hope you haven't got a nursery rhyme for me.
Yeah.
No.
Mary had a little lamb. Oh, sorry, Rob.
No, look, listen to Rowey banging on about, talent. The Crows haven't got talent. Well, last year we had talent. You don't lose talent, you're born with it. And I think it's more a case of form, like they've got the talent, they're just down on form. Tex, Dawson, Lairdy, they've all got talent, and it's just that they're not in form at the minute. Tex is down on form. But they all are. They just need to bring them back up, and then we'll start seeing what we saw last year.
But Rob, that's what I'm saying. Talent is form.
Talent.
Rob, if you had listened to me, it was 80% talent, which is obviously form and people on the park, and 20% system. Walker's not the same player. Dawson, I gave you the stats, not the same player. There's too many players down.
Do you think Taylor Walker's still carrying the ill effects of that back
don't
injury?
know. He looked a lot better last week. He's not a 76-goal forward, is he?
No.
And Dawson's not kicking like he did last year. That's talent. Their talent isn't what it was last year. Due to form, consistency, confidence, whatever it is, Rob. But it's 80-20. Don't go giving me its shape.
No, you don't.
Don't give me shape.
Let's go to Rick at Norwood. Rick?
Hey guys, hope you're well.
You too, buddy.
Rowey, you made a comment yesterday that I agree with, but it actually made me lose sleep. So I want to make 2 points about it. So since 2016, that's 9 years, we've had one player reach 100 games, and that player is Murphy. And, you know, without being rude to anyone, probably our worst forward last year. So it made me reflect on what you said. That's 9 years of recruiting. So therefore, I went and looked and I said, Rowey, who we got that's elite? Forget about their form this year. I'm looking above that. Who's elite? Dawson's elite, and Rankin is arguably elite. So
he's elite.
Depending on,
he's elite.
Yeah, he's elite. Okay. Both of those players were bought in. We paid money. We traded picks. We bought them in. They were not players from the draft. So therefore, the last 9 years, we have drafted nothing. And in any organisation, boys, when you don't perform, you lose your job. Now, in my opinion, the recruiters answer to the board. The recruiters have failed. Now, I believe that we have not started the rebuild yet. We need to start it now because our talent pool is that poor. We're 10 years from a flag. So therefore, if you don't get rid of your recruiters, the board should step down immediately.
Well, yeah, I've been banging that bag for a while. Look, it's heading towards a review, no question, if they can't turn around. But can I just put a little bit of gloss on that a bit, Rick? I'm putting these in elite, potential All-Australians, potential guns of our team. Riley Thilthorpe's a pick too, 200 centimetres. He's injured. I had high hopes for him. He killed it on the training track. I know it's different, but Rick, you got Thilthorpe. Soligo, I think, is going to be a bona fide gun, a star. They burnt Pedler for some reason, but I really rate this kid. I've watched him play for a lot of years. I have faith. Rochelle is the same. Michael Annie is a 250 to 300 game gun in that team forever. Amen. As good a kid come in, I think, since Ben Hart, and I played with him in his first 5 years, Rick. I'm just trying to give you a bit of clarity and a bit of positivity, and I still have high hopes for
And the other thing about
and
the
I've probably
100
left a
games
couple out.
is since
Well, it's
2016,
fact. Well, that's a
you really
disgrace.
had to have been drafted in up to 19 to play 100.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
because you've got to have
It's been about
five
180
seasons.
games from that point.
So in fairness,
So it's not that easy.
There's another 8. We're just not seen it yet. So that's why, Rick, I haven't come off the top turnbuckle. That's why I'm waiting to do the suplex or whatever it's called, or the double flip off of it. It's round 4, and those players are still on that list and can bloody play.
Don't take the ladder into the ring. You know, I've seen that on WWF. It's just silly.
I don't get that.
Turn
I'll bring a chair. I'll bring up the fold-up chair.
Have you seen them when they put
What
a
do they
ladder
do?
in there, climb up a ladder and go even higher than the top turnbuckle?
No.
Yeah.
That's about round 10. Actually, I'll bring the ladder if we lose to Port round 8.
Oh, dear.
Now, that round 8 game for me can't come around quick enough because you've heard me say a number of times, I don't care if we don't win a game, but we win the 2 showdowns.
That might be one of your problems.
Timmy,
that might be one of your problems.
That is my
It's
problem.
a very narrow focus.
Let's get to the 4:30 headlines. We're going to keep taking your calls next. 8223 0000 for that $100 Kenttown Hotel voucher.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. Police are looking for a 4-door sedan with mag wheels in connection to a stabbing murder at Welland in the early hours of this morning. Train drivers are set to walk off the job tomorrow from 10 a.m. as they push for better pay and working conditions. A sunglass company has copped a $1.5 million fine for spamming Australians with hundreds of thousands of text messages and emails. And in sport, the AFL is being called out for inconsistent penalties after Jeremy Finlayson received a vastly different sanction to Alastair Clarkson for abusing opponents. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Quite a few crashes out there at the moment, including Edwardstown on South Road, St Maurice on Glenburn Road, Woodville Gardens on Hanson Road near Ridley Grove, broken down truck in Kenttown on Fullerton Road near the Parade West, Dry Creek's got urgent works with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road with speeds at 40 outbound, and a speed camera Grand Junction Road, Hope Valley. At Dan Murphy's, they don't match competitors' advertised prices, they beat them. That's Dan Murphy's lowest liquor price guarantee. T's and C's apply, choose to drink wise. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, partly cloudy tonight down to 12, partly cloudy tomorrow 22. Right now it's 18 degrees. We'll have more news at 5 and as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
The future of SA's museum is at risk.
This has been a slow motion decline through years of indifference, I think. And we're now at a point where, and the Malinowskis government is being told that it needs to inject $10 million a year to restore/save the museum.
Adelaide's leading breakfast show.
It feels like it's been unloved for too long.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Being an X can be a good thing. The X in Ex-Service People stands for Extraordinary Assets. Reliable employees who make exceptional leaders and are extremely skilled. Exemplary workers with dedication and an excellent work ethic. Exactly what your organisation needs. Explore more at veteransemployment.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Hey you. Right now you're listening to a radio ad about DAB Plus radio on the radio. Think about it. It's like the cells inside your brain that's inside your head that's on top of your body are informing you that you can listen to this station in digital quality on a DAB Plus radio for free or on a smart speaker. Discover the auditory awesomeness of more radio within the radio. Search DAB Plus and listen now.
Okay, Gallipo Foods, love him. Seb and his team, his brother, started all those years ago. I reckon it's nearly 50 years ago.
That's
I went to their 50th.
You did.
Anyway, if you're a food service business owner or chef, switch your ears on. Switch, cling. You can't miss the SA Food Service Expo. It's Tuesday the 16th of April, next Tuesday, presented by Gallipo Foods.
Well, I actually drove past the Adelaide Entertainment Centre last night and saw the big advert for it.
There you go.
It's right up there, so
There
it
you
must
go.
be a huge event. This is South Australia's largest food service expo. There you go. Meet directly with 120 manufacturers, sample over 1,000 of the latest food products and access exclusively expo-only special pricing.
Now, that's a bonus, plus the value and the quality that's there. But how's this? You meet the latest equipment and service providers on hand to benefit your business.
Correct.
You meet them.
Yeah. This is what it's all about. This is a trade-only event and open to any food service business in SA. There will be door prizes, major prizes for ordering at the expo for up to $10,000. How good. Registration is essential. T's and C's apply. Visit gallipofoods.com.au/expo. SA permit number T24/456.
That's the SA Food Service Expo, presented by Gallipo Foods, proudly South Australian, Tuesday, 16th of April. It's at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, free entry and parking, which is brilliant. Thanks to Gallipo Foods, proudly voted again the #1 food service distributor in Australia.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
fair to say we think that both players and officials should be treated the same in this regard. We do think and we hope that there is consistency into the future.
The AFL Players Association are furious with the inconsistency of the AFL. Jeremy Finlayson was handed a 3-match ban. That was Chris Davies. We'll speak to him in a few moments' time. But right now we're asking for your calls, 8223 0000. $100 Kenttown Hotel voucher up for grabs.
Oh, just some news just hit the table. Adelaide Crows pushed to make FIVEAA Oval home hit another speed hump today after Charles Sturt cancelled knockback Sanford. So Sanford want to move from FIVEAA back to Footy Park. Let's just call it Footy Park. So they've got to negotiate with the Charles Sturt Council with what they want to build and the footprint.
Because they need all their programs and everything to be upheld that they do currently.
Well, they want to just pick it up, drop it there and build it. They've got the checkers bar there, they've got a footprint there and everything. So this is how tough this negotiation's been. The Charles Sturt Council, the City of West Torrens Council dealing with the Crows, the Sanford with Charles Sturt Council. There's the Amateur League that's in there, that's a sublease. There's the 5031 Action Group. There's the government planning, which has to be ticked off. There's governments involved with funding, federal and state. And there's a builder who owns the precinct down at Sanford, the old Footy Park. This is...
She's a wide web.
It's a wide web. Hello, Daniel.
How are you, mate?
Just another thing I want to spew up about.
Well, this makes me spew a little bit. Just give me a sec to get through it, right?
Yep.
So I think this season was cactus off the field before it even began when you look at what we did over the pre-season, losing McAdam, Boudet, and the biggest one was Rahali, right? There's no coincidence in our downturn of form and Geelong's upturn when you lose that guy, for one. We lose McAdam, we've got no Thilthorpe, we haven't got, so it's not the same forward line as we've had last year, it's not even close. We're moving Rankin to try and play more on the ball instead of where we need him really, which is goals. We're not playing midfielders like Pedler in the midfield, so you'd think you'd play Pedler in the midfield and Rankin up forward. And we're still going with the same mix. Like, it just does not make any sense to me.
Yeah, not a lot I can argue against that. McAdam didn't have a super year, but he is very, very good at getting at you on the ground, keeping the ball in the area and repeat stoppages.
A medium-sized forward that you don't...
No.
Doesn't look like you have a similar one-on-one.
Well, the likeness would be Gallant, but Gallant's come in because of Fogarty's out or a Walker. Okay. Daniel, some good points. Hang in there. It's only round
He's in the
5.
running for the $100 Kenttown voucher.
Well, we've got to give that away before 5.
Yeah,
Put his
you
name
did.
down.
You promised I already did.
Hello, Tony.
Yeah, Steve, Tim. Yeah, good afternoon.
Hey, Tony.
Look, guys, to me, the Crows' biggest problem is the loss of players.
Which ones, Tony?
Well, it's one of them.
Which one? Hey, Dangerfield, Cameron, Lever. It's more than this list stuff.
Rightio. Yep.
That's been the problem, what I see. They've got to learn to hang on to these players. Look, I haven't got the answer here. That's what I think is wrong.
Yeah.
You put those blokes in that team, you see a different lineup, mate.
Yeah. No, Tony, you're right. And look, it's the sum of all the parts. I've been in business my whole life, and a growth year for me in any of the businesses I've been in is retention of key staff. So keep the best printer or the best.
So for you, that's a really big KPI for running your business.
Oh,
yes.
God, you speak to anyone that owns a business.
I agree.
A growth year is retention
of your top liners.
So they can't get poached. You've got them.
We used to do 3 columns: A, Bs, and Cs. A's are your Jets.
Yep.
You want to keep them. Bs are sometimes your solid citizens or people that are developing.
Yep.
C's are people that are just started
or
ones that should find success elsewhere.
Okay.
I want you to be successful elsewhere.
Yeah. well,
all the best with that.
Well, it's called change or leave in HR. Hello, John.
G'day, gents. Look, I feel like the LGBT people have hijacked a bit of airtime from African Americans and First Nations people. I honestly don't think they suffer to the extent that these people do. You know, they get a street blocked off for them every March, and
John,
it's almost
be careful.
celebrated.
I'm just going to, John, I'll get you back, but be careful. You don't walk in their shoes. Just be careful.
Yeah, look, there's a...
Keep going, let him go, because there's a groundswell of people like John. Way you go.
Thanks, gents. I was just going to say, like, today it's almost, it's encouraged to be homosexual, and that's cool, right? No problem there. But, we got young Finlayson now. He's going to miss 3 weeks of footy, and this person, it should have really only been offensive if that person he said it to was homosexual, which we don't know. If anyone else overheard it and they took offence, that could be an issue. And who are these guys on the field going like they're back in high school, dobbing on the bloke? It's something said in the heat of the moment. He's got a cop of whack, but 3 games is way too much.
All right, John, you've had your say there.
Yeah, John,
Taylor
he
Walker said it to a teammate that was overheard by a water boy, and he got 6 weeks, John. So be careful what you say.
The Essendon player didn't dob him in. The Essendon player didn't dob him in.
He dobbed himself in.
So I removed that. But the other thing, it's not...
Dobbed himself
It's not
in.
that people are encouraging people to be homosexual. It's the fact that you're encouraging people to live their own life. Now, there's a text here from Stephen who just said, look, about 2 games short, to be honest. I'd love you to get Chelsea Randall or Josh Cavallo from Adelaide United. Think of the fine as what they think of the fine as most of Australia has worked hard to get people to understand their position in society. Absolutely not on these days. So what Stephen's actually saying there is sort of saying it's just you don't walk a mile in their shoes, so you don't quite understand if they take offence or not or the like. What they're saying here, the AFL is saying is, we don't want this said.
No.
Yeah, you want to curb the behaviour.
There's a policy. There's a policy.
Yeah.
Was that the same bloke just then that called me a snowflake yesterday?
I can't remember.
Had the same sort of voice.
Maybe it
I
was.
got called a snowflake.
We'll have to go back and play that again.
Goodness me. God, times have changed. Let's go to Tea Tree Gully. Hello, Kim.
G'day, Rowey. Hi, Tim. Following on from the last 3 callers, but like the old World War saying, loose lips think ships. They also think football clubs too. But with the Crows, honestly, you can't believe this is the same team that finished up from last year. There was so much hope and optimism, about what was going to happen this year, that they haven't seem to have any fundamentals. Where's the drilling and the training and everything? Tell you what, I'd rather watch this Warburg team that's on TV on the Telstra ad. They're a bunch of tries and they've got commitment and they make effort and try and do it, even though they don't look like it. But you can get a laugh from them. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing amusing about the way the Crows are playing.
No, there's not. Hang in there. I think there's a certain amount of hurt with us Crows supporters. A lot of frustration, but hurt. And hurt because you feel like you were conned last year. Can you be conned? I love their season and their growth. And then we have a pre-season and we dish that up for the first 4 weeks. Was last year fool's gold or were we conned? It can only be one or the other.
Something's changed.
Correct.
Absolutely.
But they reckon they've found it.
And they may have,
bloody hope
the
they
issue
have.
with that is how you've trained with it for such a long time.
Yeah.
Can you get that out of your system? Let's go to
Come
Dave.
on,
G'day,
Crows. Dave.
Fellas, with the AFL being so inconsistent, I just don't get how if you're homophobic and say something to someone, they don't consider that as bad as racism. I just don't get. I mean, how do you explain to a kid that, well, he said something homophobic and he said something racist, and there's 3 weeks difference between them? I don't understand it. And
Well, Dave, I think the AFL have said if you compare it to Tex, they were both equally as bad. And homophobic slur can be no worse than racist or vice versa. They're same. The hurt is same. But I think what they've sold to us is Finlayson gets 3, pays for his own education because he jumped on it straight away. He said, I'm sorry, and apologised and self-reported. Is that worth 3 weeks? I don't think so.
We thought there might be some compensation in it. We just didn't know what that was.
Tex got 6, and a lot of people are up in arms about that.
We've got Chris Davies coming up, so we might be able to ask
Done.
if he knows
Done.
whether there was
Done.
some sort of
Kent Town
compensation
$100 voucher, Timmy. I'm going to put this right in your hands.
Yeah, thank you. I reckon Daniel at Renown Park spoke really well, touched on a few points that you've raised previously, and thought he delivered it well.
Done.
So, Daniel, enjoy the Kent Town Hotel.
Excellent. They've got the new award-winning bar, restaurant, balcony as well. 250-seat function room there at the Kent Town
is
Hotel.
unbelievable.
Elite.
Actually, everything's unbelievable up there.
No.
Tommy, Anna and the crew, Brilliant people.
Brilliant work. For Rossdale Homes, the custom home 2-storey split-level specialists will check your roads. Chris Davies straight after this.
Quite a few crashes at the moment, including Edwardstown on South Road, St Maurice on Glenburn Road, Woodville Gardens on Hanson Road. Kent Town's got a broken down truck on Fullerton Road near the Parade West. Urgent works with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road at Dry Creek. Speeds at 40 outbound. And a speed camera Kelly Road Valley View. The King Living Autumn Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on selected Australian Design Award-winning furniture. Sale ends soon. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowey and Timmy G.
There's a lot to love about learning just about anything with WEA. Real-time, face-to-face learning with like-minded people. For the adventurers, take an introduction to karate or dance through the ages learning Baroque, Renaissance and Regency dancing. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
Back in '69, Frank Hutchison started a journey when he met Bill King, who ran a remote travel business. King needed four-wheel drive parts so strong, so reliable, they'd make the return trip after enduring the rigours of the Aussie outback. This forged Terrain Tamer's beginnings. Over 50 years later, Frank and his team continue to innovate and create parts strong enough to survive the toughest terrains on the planet. And best of all, the customer is still king. Terrain Tamer, parts that will get you home.
Live Golf Adelaide is back. And tickets are selling fast. It's golf, but louder. Don't miss this epic weekend, packed with live music, party vibes, and world-class golfers like Rahm, Smith, and Koepka. Live Golf Adelaide, April 26 to 28. Get your tickets now at livegolf.com.
Not all of us are lucky enough to call the hills home. We enjoy space, we seek change. We choose to discover what is on the road less travelled. And when you turn off the freeway to Bridgewater, you'll discover the home of Nissan in the Hills. Adelaide Hills Nissan has the full Nissan range right here, from the Qashqai to the Navara and everything in between. Take the road less travelled to Nissan's home in the hills. Adelaide Hills Nissan, since 1954. Mount Barker Road, Bridgewater, LMVD 325189.
The cost of living keeps rising. Thankfully, so does the sun. That's why more Aussies are getting smart with Solar Heart. Go solar today and get up to $1,000 off a Solar Heart solar power system and battery package. That's right, get up to $1,000 off when you purchase a 5 kilowatt and above Solar Heart solar power system and an eligible Goodwee battery. Lower your energy bills with every sunrise. Get smart. Get Solar Heart. Terms and conditions apply.
Immerse yourself in a world of wildlife without leaving the city at Adelaide Zoo, home to prowling tigers, irresistibly cute otters and meerkats, gentle galloping giraffes, and roly-poly playful giant pandas. Discover over 250 majestic animals nestled in magnificent botanic gardens and many up-close animal experiences. Take a walk through nature and discover the wild within. Visit adelaidezoo.com.au.
There's a lot to love about learning just about anything you want with WEA. Just name it. And remember, it's real-time, face-to-face learning, so you'll always get answers to your questions. Find hundreds of courses at wea-sa.com.au.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
10 minutes to 5, Jimmy Bartel coming up after 5 o'clock.
Absolutely, and well, we're very lucky to have the football operations manager of Port Adelaide on the line following the Jeremy Finlayson penalty that's been handed down. Chris Davies joins us now. G'day, Chris.
Tim, Stephen, how are you both?
Oh, not
Good.
too bad, mate. Sort of. One thing I will ask off how come it took 5 days to get to this result? I don't want to question the result, anything about it, other than the actual timing of the process just seemed a bit long for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Tim. Ultimately, Jeremy was willing to talk to the AFL at any point post the incident. As it was, the AFL were able to organise the Zoom hookup with him yesterday morning, which I was a part of as well. So, look, ultimately, that's a question that we're going to have to ask the AFL, but I think it's a really important point. If the AFL are going to have a view about their people's mental health, then maybe dealing with these situations quicker may be, one of the options in assisting with that.
And then your thoughts on the actual penalty handed down?
Well, I mean, we've said today that we accept the penalty. Jeremy's want was to take responsibility as soon as he possibly could, which included accepting the AFL's sanction, whatever that was. So we're in the situation now where we're made aware of what the AFL were proposing, and Jeremy really wants to accept it, show his remorse, and have the opportunity to move on, as much as he possibly can from a situation which, will no doubt plague him into the future.
The AFL, was there any discount as such, inverted commas, for actually coming forward, confessing, owning it straight away? And if there was some sort of compensation in games suspended, do you know what they were?
No, I don't, Tim. I don't. I mean, the AFL has certainly positioned Jeremy's contrition as part of the reason why his sanction, was, given 3 weeks rather than potentially more. I'm not sure what that more would have been, but they did highlight that, and I think acknowledge, and I think it's important that I do as well, that from the moment that it came out of Jeremy's mouth, he knew it was wrong, and he tried to do whatever he could to make amends from that point.
How is Jeremy, CD? There's a great quote from Ross Lyon: "You always support the player. You don't agree with the outcome." How
Condone the action and support the player.
It's a great quote. How is he?
Yeah, I think you're right, Stephen, and you and Tim know full well that that's part of the responsibility of the club in this situation. I think it's more than fair to suggest, without undermining the seriousness of this issue, that Jeremy's not in a great way, and this has taken a toll on him over the last 5 days, and no doubt will take a toll on him into the future. So, certainly don't want to be in a position where anyone thinks that I'm downplaying the seriousness of it, but we do have a player here right now and a person who we value in our club that is definitely struggling.
Yeah. AFLPA are calling for an instant review. Does your club support that?
Oh, look, I had spoken to the AFL and the AFLPA along the way. I don't think it's necessarily important for me right now to get into a situation where I'm comparing outcomes, but I certainly believe that the AFLPA's role here is to have a view on the situations that have happened in the past, whether they be players or officials, and I certainly believe that players and officials should be treated the same in these situations.
Your president, David Koch, through the week said it's more like the Alistair Clarkson slur. So is he at odds with the club with that?
Oh, look, I think that David was very quickly thinking about trying to support Jeremy as much as he possibly could. I'm certainly not going to sit here and talk for David. He's big enough to do that for himself. So, our focus today has really been to accept the penalty, to make the point that others can make their assessment on whether the AFL are consistent in their imposition and of their rules. I don't think it's appropriate for me to make that assessment today. I'm sure in the fullness of time that discussion will be had. I can see that some of that has started already, and I know the AFLPA have sent something out recently which confirms exactly what you said there.
Hey, Chris, can the AFLPA also push for a speedier process in this case? And I'm thinking all cases of vilification, because 5 days for me is
too long.
Way too long for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think that's fair, Tim. I mean, I've been around long enough to know that these things happen in the competition, and some of these situations are dealt with differently. If the issue is not so public, then the AFL have had situations like that they've had to manage in the past. I'm sure that in the future, I don't think that this will be the last time, and that's unfortunate. I guess the AFL need to manage these situations the best way that they possibly can in the future. But I'll certainly be, and I've already done that, Tim. I've already mentioned to both the AFL and the AFLPA that I think the time that this took was exorbitant in the context of a person who, was willing to confess to his crime. They had it on tape. I don't know why it took this long, but equally, I think there would be other cases, Tim, where maybe, a more slow approach might be more appropriate if a player was struggling, mentally struggling and wasn't able to be part of that process. I can see that each situation needs to be dealt with differently, but I don't think that's the case in this situation. I think this could have been sorted out a lot quicker than what it has been.
All right, mate, the last one on this topic. Just Jeremy's going to be paying for his own pride in sport training. How does that differ from the education currently delivered to all AFL players?
Yeah, look, that's something I'm going to have to make myself aware of, Tim, in the short term. I mean, the reality of AFL players and staff is that we go through training every year before the season starts. We have to complete, a test at the end of that training in order to make sure that the AFL are clear that we're aware of, what all of the rules and regulations are. Jeremy's been in the competition for 10 years and knows that, he's had enough education to know what he said was wrong, but clearly we're going to have to go to another level with that, and, we've committed to doing that as a club rather than just, Jeremy having to do it. We want to make sure that there's absolute clarity amongst our playing group, if there isn't already, that this is not something that we want to be putting ourselves in this situation into the future.
Okay, mate, we're going to game this week. It's for Fremantle, and give us an update on Ollie Wines, Travis Boak, Sam Powell-Pepper. Is he fit, raring to go?
Yeah, I mean, Pep is definitely fit and raring to go, and I wouldn't like to be the person who tells Sam that he's not in the team. So on that basis, I imagine that he might sneak into the forward line on the weekend. We think that Ollie will be available as well. Travis is still in a bit of doubt, so I think right now you could suggest that that he's going to have to get through training tomorrow before we contemplate selecting him. But I guess it's a nice problem to have. The team's playing reasonable footy at the moment, and we've got two players who most people would think are well and truly in our best 22 to come back into the team.
Absolutely. Good problem to have. Well done on everything. Thank you very much for being our guest tonight, Chris Davies.
No worries. Good on you guys. Thank you.
Handled very well.
Head of football at Port Adelaide, and yes.
Handled very well.
You know, in these situations, they are so sensitive, and you've got to handle them well, and Chris, I think, spoke very well to the problem.
Yeah, I don't think there's a worse feeling than being disappointed in yourself, and I've walked that line. It's awful when you say something you regret.
Or you do something that you regret.
So if you're
that.
all sitting there throwing stones, it's
an old saying.
There's more than one person hurt.
You've got to be careful when you're up on a soapbox because you can really hurt yourself when you fall down.
Yes, good point. 1 minute 2:05. We're going to take a break for the 5 o'clock news and Jimmy Bartel to join us on the other side.
Rowey and Timmy G on the FIVEAA Sports Show. SA footy legend Graham Corns joins the FIVEAA Sports Show. Monday arvos from 4:30. Thanks to BL Shipway, a South Australian institution looking after SA's hydraulic and pneumatic needs for over 70 years.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Partly cloudy tonight, down to 12. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. With the 5 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
More details have emerged about this morning's murder at Welland. 21-year-old William Holdback was stabbed around 1:20. His body found unresponsive on Barpow Street a short time later. He was in the area for what police believe was a clandestine meeting. The events have been caught on CCTV. The victim speaking to people in a car. It appears an altercation followed. Superintendent Des Bray says the hunt for the killer continues. They've put together a description of the vehicle.
But it's a 4-door sedan. It has a sunroof and mag wheels and is dark coloured, so it could be silver, it could be black, could be dark blue. We're not really sure.
Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Adelaide train services will grind to a halt tomorrow and again next week as fed-up drivers walk off the job. Trains will be off the tracks for 4 hours from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m, with 2-hour stoppages next Wednesday and Tuesday. Darren Phillips from the union says negotiations with private operator Keolis Downer have stalled.
We've progressed quite well with a lot of parts in the negotiations, but the big part here is around the wage increase, trying to get members a fair and decent pay outcome due to the cost of living crisis that we're all feeling.
The Transport Department says it will have some extra buses in place, but is urging passengers to make alternative arrangements. Hotels were among the big winners during this year's Gather Round. The accommodation spend was up 13% on 2023. The AHA's Anna Moeller said that translates into big bucks.
When compared to a $5.3 million average for the 4-day period between 2016 and 2019, Gather Round has delivered an extra whopping $8.3 million for these hotels over the footy festival long weekend.
The association says holding the Gather Round during Victorian school holidays definitely played a part in that figure. The Albanese government is pushing for the creation of a Palestinian state, but says Hamas must not play any role. More from Michael Packey.
The Prime Minister is joining some members of the international community advocating for Palestinian statehood in a bid to end the war in Gaza and create a pathway to peace in the Middle East. Anthony Albanese says the move would be contingent on an immediate ceasefire and the release of all Israeli hostages.
What we want is Israelis and Palestinians to be able to live in peace and security.
The opposition's Simon Birmingham argues fast-tracking a two-state solution is irresponsible at this time because it would simply reward terrorist group Hamas.
It is very dangerous and very concerning.
Mr Albanese says Australia would lobby to make sure any move toward Palestinian statehood does not involve Hamas in any way, shape or form.
Sugar content cut from a popular soft drink has been re-added. A 600ml bottle of Fanta now containing 4 extra teaspoons of the sweetener. Coca-Cola reduced the amount a few years ago to prove the industry could reform without being taxed on sugary drinks. The discovery has reignited calls for the government to consider the fees. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Armani, Canali, Xenia. Find them all at Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, 54 Paynham Road, Stepney.
The AFL is being called out for inconsistent penalties after Jeremy Finlayson received a vastly different sanction to Alastair Clarkson for abusing opponents. Eddie Summerfield has more.
Jeremy Finlayson has been suspended for 3 games for making homophobic comments towards an Essendon player. The Port Adelaide forward will also have to undergo training that he'll pay for himself. Less than 5 weeks ago, North Melbourne coach Alastair Clarkson was fined $20,000 for making comments towards St Kilda players. Players Association Chief Executive Paul Marsh says the AFL is consistently inconsistent, calling out the double standards, demanding instant reform. Port Adelaide GM of football Chris Davies also voicing frustrations.
We think that both players and officials should be treated the same in this regard.
The AFL, which promised to be more open in 2024, hasn't put anyone up for comment.
And 2 members of the Australian contingent have had poor preparations for the Masters before tomorrow night's tee-off. Min Woo Lee broke his ring finger 10 days ago, but says it isn't too much discomfort at Augusta. And Cameron Smith says he's only just overcome a bout of food poisoning. Now checking 5AA traffic.
In Morphett Vale, a large tyre in the middle of the road on the Southern Expressway near Sullivan Beach Road. Broken down truck in Kent Town and Fullerton Road near the Parade West. Urgent works in Dry Creek with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road. Speeds at 40 outbound. And a couple of speed cameras, Blacksboro, Gillis Plains and Kelly Road, Valley View. Fiji Airways global sale is on now. Return flights to Fiji from $624. Book at fijiairways.com or visit your travel agent. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Partly cloudy tonight down to 12, partly cloudy tomorrow 22, Friday partly cloudy 21 and the same on Saturday. Right now it's 17 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Brenton Raglis. Tonight, murder mystery. A young man found dead in a western suburb street. See the security vision that provides a vital clue. The booming cybercrime, hitting the last place you'd look. Your super fun. How your power bills can now earn you free flights. And Made in SA, the classic chocolate bar making a comeback. 9 News. Your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and on 9 Now.
Quality. Just Quality are your SA family-owned and operated home improvements experts in everything from artificial turf, outdoor blinds, roller shutters, plantation shutters, garage doors, roof restorations and re-roofing. All backed with our market-leading warranties, quality service and finance. So, when you want quality at an affordable price, book your free assessment now and call Just Quality.
Just dial 1300 813 813.
Right now, with Bupa, get up to 10 weeks free when you join on eligible products, plus up to 700 everyday rewards dollars. T's and C's apply. For award-winning health insurance, search Bupa 10 weeks free today.
Experience the wonders of the world in comfort and style with Phil Hoffman Travel, Trafalgar and Insight Vacations. Save up to 15% on selected 2024 tours worldwide with Trafalgar and Insight Vacations, plus exclusive savings of up to $400 per couple. From must-sees to local secrets, unique experiences and delicious dining. Make your dream holiday a reality with Trafalgar and Insight Vacations. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
Now, before you decide to do anything solar, take a moment and do some research. Now, the money you'll save on energy bills is a given. We all know that. But I'm talking about the people who own and run the solar company that you're buying from.
Do you know what? They come and go, but these blokes have been here a long time. And remember this name. Look into Exceed Solar. Long before Exceed Solar were a company, they were climbing on roofs all over SA, installing solar panels, the inverters and the batteries. They've lived and breathed this for a lot of years. They haven't just come in and just gone, oh, hang on a sec, here's something.
And they know all the good bits and all the pitfalls, don't worry. Now, they've seen it all because they've done it all, and because they're qualified electricians, not salespeople. They know firsthand what it will give you the best possible results. I know this because I know when the owner of this did his apprenticeship. He used to play footy with his dad.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You know everyone.
Yeah, good point.
IP is important in this game. It is massively important. That's the major difference between Exceed Solar and the others. They're built on a solid knowledge base, not a hard sell.
Great.
So you ask them any technical question, they have the answer
and
solution.
People get scared of a salesperson, don't they, when they start, talking a language you don't know. These people won't do that. Get in touch with Exceed Solar. You'll love the experience. Exceed Solar, they're built on knowledge, not a hard sell. exceedsolar.com.au.
This one goes out to the passengers in the car, to the nearly 1.5 million Australians that don't have a driver's licence. Toyota Australia believes everyone deserves to find freedom behind the wheel.
Every day is a new opportunity to choose your own journey in life. Getting where you want to go is just a matter of planning how to get there. Are you arriving on your own schedule or someone else's? Imagine the freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you want, and taking those who mean the most to you along for the ride.
Search Toyota Find Your Drive today and consider the benefits of being in the driver's seat. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
This doesn't sound like a conference. This doesn't sound like a work trip. And this doesn't sound like team building. Because conferences and events sound different with Discovery Events. With amazing venues in special places across Australia, including Adelaide Hills, Victor Harbour, Nagambie Lakes, Rottnest Island and Byron Bay. Sound great? Visit discoveryevents.com.au, your destination for premier venues in unique locations across Australia.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
10 minutes after 5 on this Wednesday evening. Still to come on the show, where are they now? With a Roosters Premiership captain. That's coming up at 5:30. We've got Wade Ormsby to join us. The Masters begins tomorrow night. Lots of people eager for that to get underway. Plus, We have Port locker room tickets to give away. That is coming up very shortly. Saturday night's game against the Dockers. You won't want to miss your chance to win then. But time now to welcome in Jimmy Bartel, all thanks to Statesman Windows, Adelaide's most trusted boutique window company, SA family owned and operated since 1980.
Bartel checks sides it brilliantly.
He can do it all, James Bartel.
Here's my Bravo man.
Jimmy Bartel on the 5AA Sports Show.
Yeah, each and every week, thanks to our good friends at Statesman Windows, they bring us this great man, Jimmy Bartel. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. Have you recovered yet from gather round?
Well, it's funny you say that we definitely felt a little hangover. There's no doubt about that. It was such a great week. We put on terrific weather, and it was just such a success that we go, wow, this is brilliant. And then we heard your mate's comments over there, Lee Matthews, and we all went crazy over here. What was he thinking?
Yeah, look, he's trying to look at it probably from his club's point of view, the Lions, and there are clubs that always whinge and say that, well, the two Adelaide clubs get an additional home game. Look, I'm not one who thinks that they should be playing the showdown and gather round. It just doesn't make economic sense. Why would you rob those two clubs a big money spinner? But also, the fact is, you get two big build-up games with Adelaide and Port Adelaide, and the people complaining, well, the draw, and I think we say this nearly each week, the fixture or the draw, it's always going to be unequal or unfair when you've got 18 teams in a 23, 24-week competition. Until you play each other once or twice, just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just have a listen to what Lee said in case people missed it.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. The two Adelaide teams can't continue to get an extra home state game just because it's gather round. And because, we already want the two showdowns. Well, that's great. If you want gather round, one of the showdowns should be part of gather round, because I tell you what, the other 16 clubs in the competition, they don't mind going. They'll accept going to get the gather round, but they're not going to accept that continually that Port and Crows get an extra home game.
Well, we're going to have our cake and we're going to throw it in his face like a Three Stooges skit.
Look, we can break it down, okay? They get an additional game in Adelaide. Interstate teams all have 12 in-state teams, but this is where it all goes sideways. The Giants played at 14 different venues last year. If you're a Melbourne-based tenant at the MCG in a big club, you probably play 16 to 17 times at the MCG. Geelong gets a home ground advantage for 9 games a year. We've got the grand final at the same venue for the next 56 years or whatever it may be.
Yep.
Look, it's never going to be fair and balanced. Some sides play North and West Coast twice this year. So there's so many inequities and a lack of balance in it. But what's the alternative?
Well, I'll give you another one that's not fair and unbalanced. Finlayson 3-game ban today. Where do you sit on that one, Jimmy?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting discussion, and people are obviously drawing the comparisons to Alistair Clarkson. I don't feel like that you should double down on your errors, and that being that Clarkson should have been handed a suspension, and that would have sent a strong message. But then that doesn't mean that you should just let off Jeremy Finlayson because you let off Alistair Clarkson. I think the sanction is pretty strong. It sends a strong message, but also you've got to have empathy as well for Jeremy, because he did own up, he made a mistake, and let's not absolutely crucify the bloke. He admitted it straight away. It's not condoning his actions, and this is the thing whenever we have these debates, people grab a thread and run pretty hard with it. Let's just look at it in its entirety. He's got a good whack as far as suspension. He's remorseful. He's dealt with it, and let's throw support around him, and he will get learning and education, and that'll be great for the people who he offended as well, that there's a person out there who's got a big profile who's going to undertake some education. So let's take what is a negative and make it a positive.
Yeah, well said. The AFLPA was strong. They're calling for an instant review of the AFL's, let's call it sanctions or code breaches or bringing the game into disrepute. It is so uneven. I mean, I always draw back to, Jimmy, the Taylor Walker one. 6 weeks, $20,000 fine. Now, that was a slur that wasn't said to the player, it was overheard, and it lands there. I mean, honestly, the inequities make me spew up.
Yeah, it does, and unless you land on a standardised model, which I'm not putting words in your mouth, but if there's something there that says if you do this sanction, it equals this, but you've got to get some people in the room and actually work out, what is equal to what. So, like, there's a racial or a homophobic slur, immediately there's 4 to 5 weeks and a certain fine attached to it. The problem is that we swing with the breeze and what's a hot topic. And the other thing about the Finlayson one, and it just was allowed to fester. He admitted it pretty much as soon as the game finished or at three-quarter time. So let's say it's at the ground. There's an AFL official that sits on the bench. Like, why couldn't this been actually done within 24 hours? Like,
well
I don't know what else you're working on. We're not producing any products. We're not on the ASX. Our sole thing is running the game and what goes on from AFL House. The problem that happened is it allowed to go on for days. So it just got more and more heat. We dragged more and more people's opinions into it, and it just made it worse and worse. It could have been handled really professionally within 24 hours and come to the right resolution.
5 days in the making.
Oh, here.
Hey, mate, we'll move on. Just the midfields at the moment that are starting to stand out, and I saw an AFL player ratings average, and they had Sydney up the top, Port Adelaide, Bulldogs, Giants, and then Melbourne. But they sort of showed the big three keys in there, like, big Warner, Heaney, Goulden, and for Port, Butters, Rosie, Horne-Francis, and the like. They didn't include ruckman. How important is a ruckman in that mix of what is, the midfield ratings?
Yeah, it depends which club you go to, and it's always a fantastic conversation because they're either really good or they're really bad. It's not too often we just think there's an average ruckman, because the really good ones are hard to come across, and we're talking like Max Gawn in there.
Stands out.
He can certainly change the game. It's because of his impact, not only his ruck work, but the way he can get around the ground and block up the opposition or push forward. And then some clubs will just cobble together a group of ruckmen and just keep playing the hot hand. So the rucks are important. Now on, was it Friday night, Port Adelaide played, they completely controlled the game from the start. Soldo's ruck work was magnificent, especially at centre bounce. 12 hit-outs to advantage. I look for hit-outs to advantage and scores from stoppage, not necessarily the raw number of hit-outs. And he was amazing there. And Finlayson, then when he came as the second ruck, just absolutely chopped Essendon apart. He had 20 touches, and you look at that third quarter, I think he had 8 or 9, hit the scoreboard. So it's what mix works for your club. I think Brisbane look a lot better when they don't play the two rucks and they play Big Oscar and Joe Danaher, because I think it frees up and creates space for their forward line. So you've either got a really good one for your system, or you've got to cobble together something that's just competitive.
Yeah, look, they say the most important kick in the AFL is the one inside 50, making a good decision under pressure with that. Midfield forward transition with the Crows. By any measure, Jimmy, or any number, they're 18th. Campo went through them yesterday. That's a stinky number. Is that, for you, talent or system?
A mix of both. I think if you identify that you're not as talented as the opposition, you can set up a structure to mitigate that. You can bring up an extra number. I think we were talking about this last week. You can bring up an extra number from half forward. You can bring your wings in a bit tighter so you don't get beaten badly from out of the stoppage. It's what you're willing to concede. And I think when you're not as talented, I think you set it up by having a good balance around the stoppage and bringing more numbers. When you've got a lot of talent, like Port Adelaide, where it's got Rosie, Butters, Horne-Francis, who are very light on their feet, you actually want to open it up and have less numbers. So it depends what type of midfield you got. The way I see Adelaide being played against, the way I'd forward scout against Adelaide, is I'd allow them to have as much within 1 metre of the contest. So I'd bring them up around the outside and say, if you're going to win it, the best you can do is a short handball or a quick kick, and we'll just take it off you. So you might win clearance and stoppage numbers, which they can do with Big O'Brien and the ruck, but you're not really going to hurt us, and that's what they're going through at the moment. The other stat that jumps out for me for the Crows at the moment is they only average 5.5 different goal kickers. But that spread is far too low, and that points to your high half forwards and also your midfielders just not getting forward of centre and putting pressure on.
Oh, God, I've just dropped my bloody bottom lip again, Jimmy. I had Campo yesterday. Now we're 0-5. All the jokes are coming in. Give me some hope. We're not that bad.
Well, hope you play Essendon in 2 weeks. There's some hope for you. They're just going. You've got a tough run because Carlton at Marvel, but then at the end of that next 5 weeks, you've got the showdown and then you've got the Lions, who probably are now kicked into gear after their game against North Melbourne. So, and North Melbourne down at Bluntstone, I don't think that'll be a gimme down there. So you could potentially be 2-7. The thing, though, when I watch Adelaide, it's not for a lack of effort or energy, or you can never criticise them for that. I think at the moment they're short on confidence, and you can see that with the likes of Dawson, who's a magnificent kick of the footy. He's just missing some simple targets. The energy gets taken out of you because you're winning ball, but you're not actually getting any result from it. So that is actually tiring and sapping as well. So, they need some positive things to come their way and get the momentum back.
We'll roll on showdown round 8, Timmy, is all I can say.
Yeah, all right. A few weeks to go before then. Hey, Jimmy,
well done,
we just saw on the weekend in Gather Round that it was a terrific game between Freo and Carlton. I just didn't like the end of it. Is Descent worth a turnover goal? I mean, it was all reports the umpire knew that he got angry, but he didn't
know what he said.
Wasn't 100% sure about what he said. A turnover goal, I think, for Descent in the heat of a moment seems a very high price to pay.
Yeah, especially if you're not 100% sure. So that's the thing. You'd want to be 100% sure who it was and who it was directed to. That's probably the key takeaway from it. Descent has been there, but I think what surprised a lot of people is that it hasn't been really paid in the first 4 rounds. And I think, now we're paying it. So I think that caught players off guard. But I think their coach, Longmuir, handled it beautifully well. That wasn't the only reason why they lost. If you wind it back, I'm not sure why Luke Jackson's hitting the ball 10 metres inboard with 90 seconds to go when he had 2 midfielders at his feet. His starting position was from the boundary line when it should have been from the centre. Young Draper is going to be a super player, but maybe for the final 5 minutes after Draper came off to get checked by trainers, maybe you move Luke Ryan over to Curnow with 90 seconds to go and instead of being on Durden. So I think Freo, I know they'll say, look, that's a pretty harsh penalty, but I think they made some errors on the way in, on the final couple of holes, if you will, to use, because we've got the Masters coming up, of course.
Yes, well played.
Well done, Jimmy. You're our Brownlow man, mate. Thanks for your time. Speak next week.
Anytime, gentlemen.
Well done,
Great
Jimmy
start.
Bartel, each and every week, thanks to Statesman Windows. They're Adelaide's boutique window company, trusted by the best builders in Adelaide. And just like Jimmy Bartel, they are elite performers, consistently delivering at the highest level. And if you need the best windows, well, you've got to see Statesman Windows.
'Cause I'm Timmy G!
It's time.
Timmy G!
8223 0055.
Takes me back to a special time.
We have 5AA locker room tickets to give away against the Dockers on Saturday afternoon. If you want to head along, we have your chance to win straight after we check the traffic.
Broken down truck on Fullerton Road near the Parade West. Urgent works with road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road at Dry Creek. Speeds at 40 outbound. Road works in South Brighton Road near Folkestone Road. Speeds at 40 both ways. And a speed camera Grand Junction Road, Hope Valley. More spotless outfits for less at Big W. Vanish Nappy Sand Gold 2 kilo tubs now half price. That's only $8 per kilo. That's more for less at Big W. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. This Saturday, hear KG and Cornsey live from the Broadview Community and Sports Hub. The official opening happens from 11 a.m. through to 1 p.m. with a family-friendly community event featuring a free sausage sizzle, coffee, face painting and ice cream while stocks last. And 5AA's Saturday Sports Show will come to you live from the Hub balcony. Listen or be there for the fun at Broadview Community and Sports Hub Grand Opening Day, April 13. Thanks to 5AA. Always Adelaide.
AutoCam. Look, this is real cutting-edge stuff.
AutoCam. It's new from Automasters.
Real-time video with a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Check this out. There's the problem, there's the quote, and here you go, approved.
So good. Totally transparent instant SMS approval and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing here now. Call 1300 Automasters.
Live Golf Adelaide is back, and tickets are selling fast. It's golf, but louder. Don't miss this epic weekend, packed with live music, party vibes, and world-class golfers like Rahm, Smith, and Koepka. Live Golf Adelaide, April 26 to 28. Get your tickets now at livegolf.com.
Can you imagine being free again?
You're free again.
A songbird in a crystal sky.
A dolphin in the Caribbean.
A puppy exploring a big backyard.
You escaped the handcuffs of the rubbish that held you captive.
You escaped because you called 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Our clean and shiny trucks take away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.au.
You know when you really need to go? You can't hold on any longer. You'll do almost anything. Well, that's what it's like at Edwardstown Mazda right now. They have a ton of demo Mazdas that really need to go. All colours and models, all barely driven and all ready to go at unbelievable drive-away prices. Buying a demo is a great way to get into your dream Mazda, and buying it from Edwardstown Mazda makes it extra special. Demo sale on now.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda.
Slow down. You in some kind of hurry?
Yep, I felt like life was getting away from me. These new shoes are letting me catch up again. I just feel like I've got more energy.
Well, they're worth it. Where'd you get them?
At Gilmore's. They even measured my feet like when we were kids.
I used to love that. Extra energy, hey?
Ross loves it. He's heading to Gilmore's this afternoon.
Maybe I should join him.
How about you take your own husband instead?
Oh, haha.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
Check this out.
Real-time video with a real-time report on my car.
There's the problem, there's the quote, and here you go, approved.
So good. Totally transparent instant SMS approval and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
'Cause I'm Timmy G.
28 after 5. Let's send someone off to the 5AA locker room. Timmy.
Well, they're the hottest tickets in town. I love it. I'm getting sick of this theme song, but...
Oh, yeah.
Just
I like it.
Hello, Russell at Cheltenham. You'll be the judge of that.
Yes.
Here's Timmy.
All right, Russ, for the 5AA locker room tickets, my friend, this is the question. In 1997, Scott Cummings kicked the most behinds ever by a Port Adelaide AFL player in a season. How many points did he kick? It's between 30 and 60. Russell?
43.
Solid guess.
Solid guess. Thank you, Russ. Let's go to Nick at Woodville. Nick.
Sorry, what was the clue again?
It is Scott Cummings, most behinds in the 97 season ever by a Port player. How many? Now, we had a guess of 43 from Russell. It's higher than 43 and lower than 60.
I'll go 52.
52. Let's go to Gavin. Gavin, it is lower than 52, higher than 43.
47.
47. Okay, Charlie, it is lower than 52 and higher than 47.
49.
49.
We're closing in.
Okay, Mark, it's lower than it's lower than 52 and it's higher than 49.
50.
Yes! Congratulations, Mark. Well done. Scott Cummins in 97 kicked 70 goals and 50 points. How's that for a season? So, an absolute cracker. And Port Adelaide missed out on the 8 by half a game in their first ever season.
So imagine if he could kick straight. So he's averaging more than 2 points a game.
I'll ring him and say you cost us.
So he's kicked
Cost
70.
Jack. Yeah.
Say he halves that is 25. That's 95. That's a huge season.
They're in the finals. First year.
He kicked 14 in a game, I reckon.
Yeah, he's
very underrated as a
Could
footballer?
play. Absolutely could play.
How many clubs did he play at?
He played at Essendon, Port Adelaide, and I reckon
West
Coast
Coast.
Eagles. I reckon 3.
Goodness me.
No, good lad.
Funny
too.
bloke.
Great
He
bloke.
actually is a good lad.
Good fella.
Oh,
Love
that
him.
is a mighty stat. Hey, well done, Matt.
Mark
who?
Mark was the winner.
Well, it was man on the screen, but whatever.
yeah, Mark.
5AA locker room doubles. How good's that? I might need glasses.
All right, 5:30 headlines time. Where are they now? Next.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowey and Timmy G.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Good evening, Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. Investigations are continuing into the murder of 21-year-old man William Holdback at Welland early this morning. Hotels were among the big winners during this year's gather round, the accommodation spend up 13% on 2023. Australia's favourite magpie is set to be finally reunited with its best friend Peggy the Staffy. And in sport, Jeremy Finlayson won't be pulling on the boots for Port for the next 3 games as part of his punishment for making a homophobic slur. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Roads are accident and breakdown free for the moment around all the majors and throughout the parklands. However, in Dry Creek, urgent works of road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road, speeds at 40 outbound. Roadworks in Glenelg North on Tapley's Hill Road, Plimpton on Marion Road and Edwardstown on Cross Road. A speed camera Blacks Road, Gillis Plains. Head into IGA for mega deals like Primo Rindless Shortcut Bacon, $7.50 grams, just $9. Ends April 16. Participating stores only. Excludes local grocer and Foodland. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, partly cloudy tonight down to 12, partly cloudy tomorrow and 22. Right now it's 17. We'll have more news at 6 and as it happens on 5AA.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
The scourge of drink spiking is clearly something that's against the law. What might surprise you, though, is how lenient the penalties currently are. The maximum penalty you will face is just 3 years in prison, and I'll be stunned if the full sentence has ever been meted out. Well, the state opposition is introducing legislation which would more than triple the penalty.
Adelaide's leading breakfast show.
I think it'd have big community support for it.
Weekdays from 6 a.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
What good is learning if you're not sharing or discussing it with the person next to you? It's why so many people love learning with WEA, face-to-face learning in a friendly, like-minded group. For learning you'll love, visit wea-sa.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriutpa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used, and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
What makes Ray White the big name in business broking? They're people, like multi-time SA Business Broker of the Year, Brett Buckley, and his team of business professionals. They take a deep dive into your business, finding value and potential, and they know what they're looking for because they know businesses. They're not real estate salespeople trying to sell businesses, they're business people selling businesses. If you want to know what your business is worth, touch base with Brett. Search Ray White Business Sales SA, multiple Business Broker of the Year awards.
Help medical research and get paid while doing it. If you're aged between 18 to 65 years old and generally healthy and not allergic to penicillin, you could help trial a potential new treatment for infections. If eligible, you'll spend 14 nights in-house at our clinic in Adelaide CBD, with reimbursements provided upon completion. Your contribution could make a difference. Head to our website and look for the Broad Spectrum Study and apply today.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening? Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBAR's ANMF SA branch Ridleyton.
There's a lot to love about learning just about anything with WEA. Real-time, face-to-face learning with like-minded people. WEA has 22 language courses on offer and over 80 cooking and wine appreciation courses. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
25 minutes to 6. Very soon we'll chat to Wade Ormsby. Tomorrow it's all eyes on Augusta. The Masters begins. We'll get into that very shortly. And we love your calls as well. Keep them coming in. 8223 0000 is the number to call. It's time to get into our Where Are They Now for Walco. Again, at the centre of SA's biggest cover-up. Get your Walco Guardian pool cover now.
The 5AA Sports Show's Where Are They Now? Past legends, past glories.
Yes, floating back to the halcyon days of the 80s and 90s. And I'll tell you what, this fella here, what a consistent player he was for the Roosters. He was their captain. He was a premiership player, a couple of best and fairest, and went through a really interesting transition period in the Roosters' history. I'll speak none other than David Tiller. G'day, Tills. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How you going?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. Now, let's go right back to the beginning, mate. You're a Port Pirie boy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so who was your local club?
I played for Risdon.
Yeah,
now,
right.
They now amalgamated with Props, and they amalgamated, and they now the Lions.
Ah, gotcha. So when did you get invited down, or did you just come down to try your luck? What was the process?
A bit of both. I come down in 1977, and that's when I started teachers' college, basically, as well as footy.
Yeah,
so I come down for both reasons.
Which a lot of people wouldn't know, but that was university, wasn't it, basically, back in the day?
Pretty much, yeah.
So when you got down there and you tried out, who was coaching at that stage at the Roosters?
I played my first 4 games under Mike Patterson.
Oh, wow. Unreal.
Yeah, it goes back a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, how was Patto? Because, of course, he was the 71, 72 premiership coach.
Yeah, well, that was his last year. In all honesty, I don't recall a lot about Patto as a coach in a sense because the year I first come down, I started in the 19s, played a bit of seconds as well, and then played the last 4 matches in the league team.
Unreal. And then Barry Robin took over?
Yeah, Barry then coached for 3 years.
Yeah, right. And when early days, because I saw your record, and you've played an expected 290 games, but I saw 161 goals, and I went, what happened? Where did they come from?
I reckon he kicked them all on me.
Were you just running down, or was there a period you were playing forward?
No, I played basically midfield forward until 86.
Right.
So from 77 through to 80. Yeah, for 85 I was on playing midfield, and then 86 I went back to defence. That's when Noonan worked out that Darren Jarman was a bit better playing than me in the midfield.
Oh, don't put yourself down. You're a mighty back pocket.
Yeah.
God, I never got a kick on you. Can I just go back to the Barry Robin era? It's such a quietly spoken gentleman legend.
Yep.
He would have never raised his voice. Just paint a picture of what he is like as a coach.
Yeah, believe me, Barry could raise his voice. Don't worry about that. It was an interesting time. We certainly, unfortunately, struggled a bit in that sort of time period. I mean, Barry probably in some ways inherited the situation that was not easy because the good years of Paddo had sort of gone, and with a lot of good players left, or in a sort of a 3 or 4 year period before I got there, and it was really very much a rebuilding phase. And from that point of view, we were sort of in the lower levels of the league for quite a period, about 3 years, a lot of that time. But it was interesting to just be involved, though.
Yeah, beautiful. BNFs in 81 and 84. In 84, made captains. You made a hell of an impression in your first 5 years, Tills, which is just outstanding. Let's talk about the grand finals, 85 and 86. We'll start with those. You played in 4 grand finals and only won 1.
Yeah, which is not particularly good, but it's a hell of a lot better than none.
Yeah, good point. The 85 one was the one I always felt got away.
Could have gone either way. It was it was a really good game, and we were on top early, and then a couple of things didn't go our way, and Steve Kernahan played a great second half, and let's be honest, there's not many players better than him anywhere in the country in any era. So they were very good, and we had a good team as well. And in the end, they got the sort of run on and the whole momentum in the second half, and in the end took it out a little bit comfortably. But we were, like I said, we were probably 2 or 3 or 4 goals up in the first half.
Mickey Noonan, he made a fair impact when he got there, didn't he? And, because you'd been there some years earlier, what did you see instantly that you went, okay, this is going to change the way we play?
Mike certainly is a really deep thinker about football, and he had his clear vision of how he wanted us to play, and his strength, from my point of view, I think, was he was very good at identifying the young talent around and what he wanted to put into the team, how he wanted to build it, and like Philip, he took over in '81, and I suspect probably by about '82, maybe into '83, there were probably only 9 of us left, around about 9 that started, in '81 with him.
Yeah, right.
And he found some pretty handy players. I mean, you look at the Jarmans, Phillips, Campbell, Zuchens, Angelus, Robinson, Phillips. That's a pretty handy group of kids that he just went. In fact, Clisby, Peter Bennett.
Gee whiz, yeah.
So
even I know all those names.
Yeah.
David, you lost 2-1. Talk about the '87 one. Was that just pure relief?
Well, certainly that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes things just go your way, and you look at our first quarter, Darren Jarman kicked 2 fantastic goals and was pretty tough and tight and pretty willing early, and that was partly because we knew that we just couldn't, play the same way we played in the previous year particularly. We had to really take it up with Nell because they had pretty large amount of confidence that they could win a third. And once we got on that roll, everyone played well. We just won so many contests. And then you look at Wade, say, Craig Burton was able to just run and kick some great goals. Passo taking big catches and kicking 6.
Game.
And like I said, and you guys have been involved in games as well. The momentum just goes one way, and just nothing can change it.
Yeah. You mentioned all those names. I'm just so fond of Mick Redden, and having to rove against him and his brilliance, his hand, his touch and all of that. Tell us about him, because I thought in that era he was the one Lionheart that typified how you play. Am I out of cue there, or?
Oh, no, Mike Redden, in my opinion, is just one of the legends of the game.
He is.
When he played, 360-odd games, I can't remember exactly how many, and to do that with the amount of travel that he did, week in, week out, season in, season out, which was amazing, and it just shows how resilient he was and how resilient his body was, just given that he was a farmer and shearing and all the rest of it went with it, and travelling back and forward and so on, and just kept on showing up. And like you said, he was so good at ruckman. And some of there's some fantastic ruckmen in that era. He had some great battles. And was certainly good playing in the midfield when he was rucking.
Absolutely. I think they all
and
enjoyed
a super
it.
bloke to go with it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
What was your change rooms like when, you had blokes like Jars in there, Simsy, Hart was never short of a word. It must have been hard. And they say you're a quiet achiever, but was it because you couldn't get a word in?
Yeah, a bit like that. There was some pretty big characters, weren't there?
Yeah.
But 87 in particular was just a real fun year. And what I mean by that is that we deliberately trained hard, but we also had a lot to do with each other socially and our girlfriends and wives, and we did a lot of things that were really positive in terms of just being together, and that I think that was pretty significant throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
And plus play some pretty good footy, and was good footy every week in, week out, wasn't it? It was just fantastic. It was hard work. We never rolled up to a game thinking, this is just going to be just an easy win. You just didn't do that no matter who you play.
You were great to watch, though, as a team. Having been the opposition, we'd sometimes go and watch you if we're playing you the next week.
Super skillful.
And to watch North Adelaide play, it was just super exciting football. Yeah. It was just a brand of footy that you just would, kept the turnstiles going.
Yeah, and that whole 80s was like that, wasn't it? It was fantastic.
Hey, mate, besides the grand final, is there any games that sort of really stand out in your memory? Like that was just a cracking win. I don't know how we got back from, that point of the game. Was there anything that really stood out in your memory?
A couple of really good games we had that I really enjoyed. One was a footy park, Port Adelaide, Sunday, Father's Day, 40,000 people day.
What a game.
And that was, I reckon that was 85 or maybe even 80, maybe even
It was
earlier.
89. It was Father's Day, 89.
Oh, it was later, sorry.
Father's Day,
It
89.
was just,
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not the one. I don't know. That might have been. Anyway, it was just a really good game. And 40,000 people at a, just
Mine around.
around. And there was another one at Adelaide Oval, which I'm pretty sure was 85. That we're playing Norwood at Adelaide Oval, and they had a big first half and were leading comfortably, about 9 goals to 5 or 6. And I think we had a 13-goal third quarter. I've sort of seen some, video, off YouTube of that game, and it was the third quarter was just ridiculous.
That's incredible. 13 goals. You've coached a fair bit at junior level and the like. Have you ever put a plan in place to say, "Hey boys, can you just kick 13 the third?"
Well,
well.
Can you remember this one, David? It was 1990. Jars moved over to Nord. They played North at Nord Oval, and we could never beat you at Nord Oval, but you could never beat us at Prospect. It just seemed to be that way. Andrew had 2 goals and about 22 touches to half-time in the centre on Darren, and Mickey Noonan must have said to Darren, "Mate, you're better than him." He came out and kicked 5 in the third quarter. Can you remember that one?
Not greatly, because I wouldn't have played that game. 90 was when I finished. I only played 3 games because I ran out of ammo with injuries, basically.
Oh, God. Well, I can tell you one thing. I never got a kick on you. You were so good in the air, super skillful. I can see why Mickey Noonan loved you. But then you went into coaching when you finished with the North's under-17s. I come up against you at that because I did Norwood's under-17s for 5 years. I don't think we ever beat you, Dave.
Oh, we had some pretty handy teams.
Yeah.
I spent 4 years coaching amateur league, actually, before I got into that. So, I don't know if you remember, I spent 3 years as Phil Carmen's runner at Sturt.
Oh, yes, you did too.
86 to 89.
Yeah.
Sorry, 90...
Yeah,
96,
he took over in 95,
Yeah, so that was a bit of fun. It was certainly interesting.
Yeah, your junior coaching is quite legendary. The hours and the years you put into it, you must love it. I only just found out now that you're a teacher by trade.
Yeah, I've been at Westminster for 44 years.
Oh, you think you'll get to like it?
I hope you got a gold watch.
I haven't left you.
Jesus!
I'm sort of I'm sliding out the back door because I've been 0.5 for 3 or 4 years. I just enjoy sort of like that, that 0.5 bits, and it's like teach a little bit of phys ed still. And best part about it is I just don't tell them which 0.5 I'm supposed to be there for.
That is a great contribution to kids' development. I mean, that is unbelievable.
That is amazing. Now, I contacted one of your old teammates, and he said that you love talking about the shares, and that'll give it away who it is.
Oh, who else?
Who else? But he said you had a heart attack, mate. You're okay? A few years ago?
Well, I've had a couple of campaigns, actually. I had a heart attack in 2011.
Wow.
And that was when I was out riding a bike.
Yeah.
But luckily, when I sort of had the pain, I was close enough. Well, I was back at school because it was a Saturday morning. I went for a ride.
Yeah.
And I've come back because I live very close to school.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues said, "Look, Tills, you don't look too good." And then she said, "No, you look horrible. I'm going to call an ambo."
Wow.
And so basically, had a heart attack, and luckily they got it at the right time. But that was 11 years ago. But only then 2 years ago, I had a triple bypass and a heart valve replacement.
Wow.
Goodness me.
So it's ticking along all right, though, mate? The heart's okay?
Yeah, fine. With all those situations, I didn't have any warning or symptoms or anything like that.
Wow.
But I knew about the valve issue because the cardiac. I've got more specialists in my phone than I've got friends these days.
Nothing wrong with that. You live a big life. I see you 65. So was it genetic, or were you a smoker, or too many frothies?
No.
He's fit as.
I know.
The real, I guess it's genetic. My dad had heart issues. He never had a heart attack, but he certainly had a quadruple bypass. And after that, he basically lived another 10 or 12 years. He was in mid-80s.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
You know, but like I said, my cardiac guy knew that I would have to have a valve replacement, and then when that was going to be still a few years' time, but he brought it forward because it needed to be done. And then when they did some tests leading into that operation, they come out afterwards and said, oh, by the way, while we're there, we're going to do a triple bypass. So it was a 4-hour operation.
Unreal, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, we're glad you're still here to tell your stories. That was brilliant. I love that. It's always great to flash back, mate. Really appreciate your time, and what a great career it was, mate. Well done. Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.
That's fantastic. The old longevity rewards.
David
with
Tiller.
His footy, with his love of the club.
North Adelaide,
Westminster.
Yeah.
44 years.
It's unreal. I remember seeing him out there one day, but not for 44 years, I didn't.
I didn't know he was a star midfielder before he went to the back pocket.
Well, that's why I
swear to God I never had a kick
the goals had to come somewhere.
They had to. Well done. SA's biggest cover-up, and Walco is at the centre of it, no question. Put your pool to bed now for winter with the best you can get, made right here. A Walco Guardian pool cover bought us David Teller.
Let's get to your traffic.
In Crafers West, a breakdown on the freeway up track near the tunnels. Cumberland Park has a crash on Goodwood Road near Crossroad. Dry Creek's got urgent works, road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road. Speeds at 40 affecting outbound. And a speed camera Harris Road, Vale Park. The Snooze Autumn Sale is on now. Save up to 50% off mattresses and up to 40% off bed frames. Hurry, sale ends soon. It's amazing what a little snooze can do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Jarvis Toyota has moved to their brand new home in Brighton Road, Somerton Park. Take advantage of opening savings across the Toyota certified pre-owned range and enjoy the same feeling you get with a new Toyota at Jarvis Toyota. All certified pre-owned vehicles are tested and backed by Toyota, including a full service history and 90-point safety check. Toyota certified, pre-owned in a class of its own. Jarvis Toyota, now at Brighton Road, Somerton Park, proudly celebrating 22 years of great deals.
Back in '69, Frank Hutchison started a journey when he met Bill King, who ran a remote travel business. King needed four-wheel drive parts so strong, so reliable, they'd make the return trip after enduring the rigours of the Aussie outback. This forged Terrain Tamer's beginnings. Over 50 years later, Frank and his team continue to innovate and create parts strong enough to survive the toughest terrains on the planet. And best of all, the customer is still king. Terrain Tamer, parts that will get you home.
For over 3 decades, Regent Homes has been synonymous with crafting architecturally bespoke homes, each one a testament to Regent Homes' unwavering commitment to design, quality and sophistication. And because Regent Homes is a South Australian family-owned company, they understand more than anyone what it takes to build a family home. Experience Regent Homes' award-winning display homes at Lightsview and Blackwood Park. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
Pathology is an essential part of our healthcare system, and 70% of all our medical decisions rely on pathology tests. They help GPs and other healthcare professionals diagnose illnesses, diseases and infections, and we all benefit from pathology being bulk billed. But government funding hasn't increased in 24 years. So to keep pathology affordable and accessible for all Australians, visit keeppathologybulkbilled.com.au. Authorised by LWET, Australian Pathology Canberra.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. After months of waiting, our all-new Mirage Italian-made floor tiles are now in store at a once-only introductory saving of $30 per square metre. That's right, as a once-only introductory offer, save $30 per square metre on these magnificent all-new Italian-made floor tiles. But only, yes, only for this first shipment. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
You've heard the phrase hands-on, right? That's what Exceed Solar is, a hands-on solar company. The owners are fully qualified electricians and they've been installing solar panels, inverters and batteries all over SA for years. They know it all because they've seen it all firsthand, which makes them more qualified than most to know what's really going to work for you. Exceed Solar, built on knowledge, not a hard sell. Visit exceedsolar.com.au.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Taking your calls at 4 minutes to 6, but right now we're giving away 2 chances for you to see some world-class athletics, which is back in Adelaide starting tomorrow, all the way through to Wednesday next week, the 17th, for the Chemist Warehouse Australian Athletics Championships. You can find that at SA Athletics Stadium down at Mile End. Give us a call right now, 8223 0055, if you want to win VIP tickets to get along with you and a friend this Saturday.
Scotty Cummins also played for Pies. Got a lot of texts. You got that one wrong, Timmy.
Damn.
4 clubs.
4 clubs.
4 clubs.
One away from a flush.
Yeah. Hello, Con.
Yes, hi. How you going?
We're all yours.
I guess everyone's had their say about Finlayson and the ban, but I kind of grew up in at school where we used to say sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And gee, the world's changed now, hasn't it? You've got Pendlebury that punched someone a couple of weeks ago, and basically nothing happened, and you've got a guy here that's uttered one word in the heat of the moment and gets a 3-week suspension. Hardly seems right to me. So I guess everyone's had their say. I'm having mine too. I'm appalled.
Yeah, no, good on you, Con. And my parents are a bit like that, sticks and stones. I had texts from a lot of mates. What did he say?
That was the
he
era
said the word
they grew up in, yeah.
But that's right. And what it did build was resilience. I've got some really good mates that are, is it ethnic? What do you call wogs? Italians. And did you dump that?
Thank you.
Can't say that.
Did you dump that?
No.
Well, Italians
Yeah,
and
different-
Greeks were called that word.
Yeah.
And they still get called that word.
Yeah.
And it's offensive to others, but not them, because they get it. They
but if
grew
you
up
spoke
being
to them in that
called
time, they didn't like it. I'll tell you,
But
George
it built-
Fiarchi...
I'm trying to tell you, it built resilience, and
George
I'm just
Fiarchi
saying.
But that's why we're here today.
Yeah, that's right. But George Fiarchi taught me a great thing. He said he was sick of being called it, so he said, I wasn't going to let it offend me. I wanted to wear it as a badge of honour.
Yep.
So he used to get his mates to call him it, to sort of fire him up, if you like, to get him going. But it's not as if they enjoyed it.
No, but you're not getting the point. That built resilience. So that was his way of dealing with
we're
it.
not going to. Yeah, but other people don't.
I got
That's the
called,
thing.
and I'm not even one of them.
Well, it can happen.
I look very Greek, don't I?
G'day, Grant.
You know my nickname's Stavros.
Stavros, it is. G'day, Grant.
What?
Yeah, how you going?
Good, buddy.
Just a bit of a kudos for the state for a start with the gather round. I run a wine tour business, single owner. I've probably got an extra 8 wine tours in the last 2 weeks, just because of gather round alone.
How good!
Wow.
With that, that's probably an extra couple of grand in my pocket.
Yeah, well done.
Fantastic.
But the thing with that was that I had 7 in the car the other day, and they were going up to the Adelaide Hills.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, bloody love your premier." He said, "Well, what's up?" He said, "Well, you saw us at the footy on Saturday, obviously, and we were walking up after the footy game in Norwood, and he said he came over to us. He said, 'Oh, where are you from? How are you going?' He said, "That footy colours on." He said, "Oh, yes, that, and tell us where we were, and this, that, and the other." And he said, "Look, just thanks for coming, guys. Really good, terrific. Keep it up." And he said, "Our premier wouldn't even bloody give you the time of day."
Do you know what, Mr. Malinauskas, our premier? Thank you, Grant, for sharing that.
And that's a sort of spin-off from Gather Round, isn't it? It's the little businesses getting that work
because he's real.
Yeah,
he's real. He's approachable, and he loves South Australia, and you can see that. He would be the Prime Minister if he ended up going federally, and I might even vote for him.
Well,
that's how good I think he's done here in this state. He's just so real.
I think for the people in local politics, as far as Labor go, I think that's their fear, is that he might be poached to go federally.
Really?
The only difference with that is it puts a lot of strain on family because you are away in Canberra a lot. And
He's just had a new bub.
He's just had a new bubs. He's a great family man. I think he'll stay where he is at the moment.
Well, God, has he done a good job.
6 o'clock, time for the news. Wade Ormsby next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy tonight, down to 12. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. With the 6 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
CCTV has captured the moments leading up to the death of 21-year-old William Holdback at Welland in the early hours of this morning. Superintendent Des Bray says it wasn't random.
Given that it's 1:20 in the morning, given that it's a remote location in an industrial area, it has all the appearance of a clandestine meeting, and that, together with some other information we've obtained, makes us believe that it was to do with either a drug deal or the recovery of money.
The victim was stabbed. He was found unresponsive in a pool of blood on Barpower Street around 1:30am. The suspects fled the scene in a dark-coloured four-door sedan. Train drivers will stop work tomorrow as an ongoing dispute over pay and conditions comes to a head. Following threats of strike action last week, they'll now walk off the job between 10am and 2pm. Darren Phillips from the union says it'll continue next week unless there's a resolution.
In between tomorrow and when the next action is put on Tuesday, we're hoping that Keolis Downer will come to the table with a revised pay offer, and then we can avoid further actions if that offer is acceptable to members.
Gather Round has given the hotel industry an $8.3 million shot in the arm. Accommodation revenues in 2024 up 13% on last year. The AHA's Anna Mola says a 4-day festival really works in their favour.
And extended win. Often, you'll have a major event and you'll just see a boost for maybe a day or a day and a night, but this really was a fantastic long weekend.
Australia is open to recognising Palestinian statehood as a pathway to peace in the Middle East. The federal government says the move would be contingent on an immediate ceasefire and the release of all Israeli hostages. Terror group Hamas would also not be able to play any part in Palestinian politics. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says the international community must encourage Israelis and Palestinians to the negotiating table.
The way to think about this is, in fact, ensuring that there is a pathway to peace emboldens moderates because it requires both sides to live side by side in peace. And we need to find a pathway to peace out of the current conflict.
Australia's favourite magpie is set to be reunited with its best friend Peggy the Staffy. Richard French has the latest from Brisbane.
Queensland Premier Stephen Miles has promised Molly's Gold Coast owners will be able to gain the much-needed permit to bring their beloved magpie home. The bird was seized by rangers 2 weeks ago. Now the couple and their more than 800,000 followers on Instagram have worked together to find a way to bring Molly back. The magpie first became Insta-famous after the couple took him in during the 2020 lockdowns and, in a bizarre and lovable turn of events, became best friends with one of the couple's pets, an English staffy named Peggy. The Queensland Government seizing the magpie on March 26 as they did not have the valid rehabilitation permit at the time. In Brisbane, Richard French, 9 News.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Armani, Canali, Xenia. Find them all at Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, 54 Paynham Road, Stepney.
Power forward Jeremy Finlayson has been suspended for 3 games for using a homophobic slur toward an Essendon player. The 28-year-old will also be required to attend and pay for Pride in Sport training. Port's General Manager of Football, Chris Davies, says they won't be appealing.
We said from minute one that we would accept whatever penalty that the AFL came up with, and that'll be our position from here. Well, it's the AFL's penalty, it's the AFL's opportunity to make a stand in regard to this, and clearly they've decided to do so, and we are supportive of that as a club.
The Crows have been making the most of their 9-day break between games in an effort to turn their fortunes around. Adelaide is winless heading into the clash with Carlton on Saturday. Coach Matthew Nix says they've been putting in the hard yards between rounds.
It was great to have a long week, being able to work on some of that execution, just getting plenty of footies in our hands and work on the areas of the game we have to.
There's plenty of demand to see Nestori Irukunda one last time at Hindmarsh before his move to Germany to Bayern Munich. Adelaide United's Friday night game tracking towards being a sellout. And Scotty Scheffler heads into the US Masters, considered favourite to win the green jacket. Now checking 5AA traffic.
In Crafers West, a breakdown on the freeway up track near the tunnels. Cumberland Park has a crash on Goodwood Road near Crossroad. Dry Creek's got urgent works road plates in use on Churchill Road North near Cormac Road. Speeds at 40 affecting outbound. And a speed camera Harris Road, Vale Park. The Snooze Autumn Sale is on now. Save up to 50% off mattresses and up to 40% off bed frames. Hurry, sale ends soon. It's amazing what a little snooze can do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Down to 12, partly cloudy tonight, partly cloudy tomorrow, 22. Friday, much the same and 21, also on Saturday. Right now it's 17 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
Thanks, I'm Kate Collins. Tonight's headlines. Police are hunting 2 killers who chased down and murdered a young man in a Welland street. Commuters are being warned to brace for train delays with industrial action set to cause peak hour disruptions across multiple days. And iconic chocolate, the Polly Waffle, is back, but not as you remember it. 9 News, your news, nightly at 6 on 9 and on 9 Now.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
It's no surprise that Alfred James Funeral Homes is there for families in their time of need. They've been doing so for over 100 years. What may be surprising is the lengths they'll go to help you pay tribute to the life journey of your loved one. A song choice that's unconventional. A eulogy that's both heartwarming and hilarious. Oh, and launching their ashes into orbit on a SpaceX rocket. Pre-plan yours with us now. Alfred James Funeral Homes, honouring lives in extraordinary ways.
Hi, I'm Jo. I'm a registered nurse and I work with St Louis Home Care as a clinical care coordinator.
St Louis was started by my great-grandmother and is one big happy family with lovely staff just like Jo.
The people that work for St Louis are very loving and caring.
Whether it's personal care, preparing meals, shopping, home maintenance or social activities, we help people stay at home for longer.
If you're interested, come and join us.
Google St Louis Home Care today.
We know what you get up to in bed. Reading, scrolling, binging and the other stuff. Complete Comfort designs beds you can adjust for every activity. They have active zones you can adjust in seconds to get the right pressure, position and circulation for a more restful sleep. And they look just like your average bed. What you do in bed is up to you, but it's always better to do it with Complete Comfort. Visit CompleteComfort.com.au or try for yourself at the Wayville showroom.
Experience the wonders of the world in comfort and style with Phil Hoffman Travel, Trafalgar and Insight Vacations. Save up to 15% on selected 2024 tours worldwide with Trafalgar and Insight Vacations, plus exclusive savings of up to $400 per couple. From must-sees to local secrets, unique experiences and delicious dining. Make your dream holiday a reality with Trafalgar and Insight Vacations. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
9 minutes after 6 on this Wednesday evening. Driving with Dixon is on from 6:30 tonight. Looking forward to hearing from Big Charlie. And our next guest is all thanks to Parafield Airport Liquor, home of the hardest to find wines, beers and spirits. Life's better with your pals.
Well, the 88th edition of the Masters at Augusta National Golf Club, well, it kicks off tomorrow night. It's one of the dream events for a lot of people, one of those bucket list things, and we know that
Studley's over there.
The great Graham Corns has headed over there for his bucket list moment, but we've got a guy that knows a fair bit about the game. He's South Australian professional golfer. He's been on the Live Golf circuit, the DP World, the Tours, you name it. Wade Ormsby, welcome.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me on.
It is one of those bucket list moments, isn't it, for people? And Cornsy's done exactly that way. But, you know, how hard is it to get to see a Masters?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you almost got to do like a package tour, you know, to get the tickets and the whole experience, because I think Augusta's a pretty small place and hard to get accommodation, etc. So, no, it's one of those events you've got to get to once in your lifetime. It's like a Wimbledon of golf, I think.
Yes, exactly. One of those big majors. Hey, just talking about that, like, it's got a great history. 88 times now they're talking about. But what are your favourite memories of Augusta and great games and great finishes?
Yeah, I think that one when Tiger chipped in over the back of 16s there a few years back. Obviously, my age group, you know, I was a massive Greg Norman fan, so to watch Greg go around there and painstakingly kind of fall short a couple of times just captivated me as a young fella. So, and then obviously Adam Scott in 2013, a good mate of mine, to see him win that major was huge. So there's been a few highlights for me.
88th edition, it is one of the great ones. You sit and watch all the time. We've got 6 Aussies in it. Give us the field. Cam Smith's probably our best chance. But I'd love you to speak about Min Woo Lee.
Yeah, well, Min Woo's got plenty of power. The golf course sets up for a drawer, and probably Min doesn't hit it that way. I'm not saying he can't do well around there, because these guys are world-class players, but he seems to have injured his finger in the gym the last few days, which is a bit of a shame for him. But I saw him out there yesterday playing, so he'll be good to go, and hopefully it doesn't hamper him. Sometimes it can be a good thing having a little niggling injury. So, yeah, I think there's a few boys there. Adam Scott, Jason Day, there's a few boys that are all up to the challenge.
Just on Min Woo Lee, how can you play with a broken finger? How do you grip the stick?
Well, sometimes it depends. They're saying it's his ring finger, so the middle of that left hand. Okay. So I think he can probably... I don't know, it just depends. Like, your grip, you kind of put pressure on different parts of your hand there, yeah, but it can't be too comfortable to play with it, but we'll see how it goes.
Now, the Irishman, McIlroy, he's going for a career Grand Slam. This one's alluded to him. Not that I'm a betting man, Wade, but should I put a sneaky little 20 on it? Because he's in reasonable touch, the fella.
Yeah, he's kind of reached out to Butch Harmon, I've seen the last few weeks, to do a bit of work with him, which is a odd move, you know, but... yeah, he's got so much game and so much talent, so it can just take a little poke in the right direction and a little feel and just to get him going. And yeah, he's got the game to be able to walk away with it. But there's a couple of other guys, obviously John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, they're going to be hard to beat. And yeah, it's so stacked now, the field. Any one of probably 15 guys can win that golf tournament.
That's the hard thing about it. Hey, the Live Golf, obviously, with the Pro-Am and the like. Well, how are they being greeted? Because I know that there was some awkwardness initially. Is that all over and done with, or will there still be a few prickly moments as far as pairings go?
Yeah, well, sure, there's still a great wall up in golf, if you like, and I think there's guys on both sides of the fence. All the Live guys are very happy with where they are and content, and maybe some of the guys on the other side of the fence, maybe not so much. But I think the guys, when you bring them together at majors, they're all still mates competing against each other, and you're still trying to get the job done. But I don't think there's too many with a sour taste in the mouth. It's more further up the tree with the executives trying to sort out what's going on in golf at the moment, or on the PGA Tour side of the fence, more so than the Live side being disgruntled with the other side. So it's just business as usual from the players' point of view, but we'll see what happens on that front. But we've got that exciting event around the corner in Adelaide in a couple of weeks, which I'm excited about. So just think that all those guys are going to be down here in Adelaide. It's pretty exciting with the addition of people like John Rahm, etc. So, no, I'll be looking forward to it.
I've had a look at the time difference between us and Augusta. Difficult watching times if unless you're perhaps a night shift worker. It's actually it is a difficult one. Have you got any suggestions? Have you ever experienced what the best way to get the coverage?
Yeah, well, I guess the Masters app is amazing now. It's probably the best app in golf. You can see you can kind of catch up on your favourite player by watching every shot on that app. So I suggest anyone that wants to watch it, grab that app. It's great. And then I think it's iconic in a way that it's always been on in the morning. You know, I remember as a young bloke always waking up as early as I possibly could and trying to go to school as late as I possibly could to try and get that 2 or 3 hours of golf in the morning. But and I often missed a Monday morning on Masters week try and see the finish and have an excuse, or get mum and dad to write in my diary. So it's just the way it is in here. It's just a time difference that we have to live with.
Wade Ormsby, our guest, absolute legend of golf in our state. I'll get up at 3:24 or set the alarm because Jason Day's heading off, and he's heading off with Tiger Woods. Now, where's he at, the big Tig?
Oh, you can never count him out, can you? But he's talking positive this week, saying he wasn't quite ready a few weeks ago when he didn't perform anywhere near what we expect out of him. But yeah, the guy knows the golf course really well. He always looks in good shape. It's just whether the body feels that good for him. You forget that he's sneaking up there in the age department, but we'll wait and see.
Now, what are you up to, Wade? You're on the Asian tour. Is there any chance we can get you in the Live Golf? I know you've been on the tour.
Well, right now I'm driving home from golf, so I've just been practicing all day down at Royal Adelaide. So where am I up to? So basically, a lot of people have asked this question this week around town. You know, the simple fact is there's 54 contracted players in Live Golf, so there's no way that Greg can do a sneaky little side deal and slip me in there. That's out. So, but where I am a contracted reserve player, so I travel to all the Live Golf events around the world, and there's 14 of them, which I'm doing 13 of them. I didn't do Miami last week. And then if someone falls ill or gets injured, then there's one of 3 reserves will get slotted straight into the field, which has been me. I played in Jeddah this year a few weeks ago, so that's exactly how it works, and that's my role, and I'm happy to do that role. Otherwise, I wouldn't put my hand up.
You're a super sub, Wade. You are the super sub.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how we go.
Hey, Wade, mate, I'll swap with you.
No, it's a nice role, but at the same time, I'm a competitor and I'd love to be playing, but I understand where I sit. So I'm blending that with my Asian tour, which has got the international series, which is brilliant. Which is, let's call it, one step down from Live. A lot of Live players come down and play that series. So there's 10 events in that, plus a few Asian tour standalone events on top of that as well. So I've got a pretty busy schedule, travelling probably 28, 29 weeks this year overseas. So keep me busy, and that's good.
How's your short game? One chip, one putt?
Normally that part doesn't kind of escape me, but it's normally the ball striking which I struggle with, but no, we're all right.
Good, man. Wade, you're a star. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Timmy. Thanks, Rowey. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Wade Ormsby, our guest, South Australian champion. Great bloke,
he is.
too. Terrific fella.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the Masters is one of those bucket list things, and I reckon one day I'll get over there. If I just keep working on my game at Regency, playing tomorrow morning. So.
Timmy, you are 1 out, 1,000 back.
Keep going, I reckon.
Until you put your hand in those big, tall pockets, do more cashies, and actually buy a membership at one of the big 4 clubs here.
Wasn't invited to the Pro-Am at Live either.
Well, you can't, because you play at Regency. It's a public course.
Well, how am I going to get better unless I get alongside a champ?
It's a plebs course. You've got to be a member at Grange.
Hang on.
That's a bit
be
harsh.
careful. There's a lot of people that play
I'm there tomorrow. They might beat me up.
Including
you
Timmy.
said that.
I said it.
Pretty tough around the parks.
Royal Glenelg, Royal Adelaide, Royal Kionga,
Royal Regency.
or Royal Grange.
Royal Regency.
Royal Regency. You know I didn't mean that. Wade Ormsby, our guest, he's a star.
Well played. Hang on,
I
mate. Just before that, Wade is a good pal of ours.
Yes,
so
he is.
All thanks to Powers. And when you're after that special drop, get into Powers. They will have it, or they'll show you where it is. Parafield Airport Liquor, they're absolute champions. It's the home of all the hardest fine wines, beers, and spirits. Yep, life's better with your pals.
Well, it certainly is. We'll flick him a nice thread. Hey, this caught my eye. Unique Homestyle Food text. Hey, Timmy.
Yes.
In addition to 2022 0-5,
yes,
you were untenable after getting flogged at the Pies in round 2 and then the Crows in 2023.
That's correct.
This is from, who is this?
Yeah.
No name.
Yeah.
By the way, Crows deviancy. What is deviancy?
I think he means deficiency.
Okay.
It's not limited to
midfield.
Okay.
Crows' deficiency is not limited to midfield. It's a team game, and many other butcher the ball and turnovers kill them. P.S. So he's given you a drive-by. Here's my drive-by.
Yep.
Row. I took my dad to a Nord game versus West Torrens, and he rarely went to a game. You had 33 touches.
Good day.
My dad turned to me and said, but how many were turnovers?
Oh.
Ouch.
Gee, that's
I'd imagine
that's too good.
They were. With my ability, I'll answer that. probably half.
Oh, no.
Don't be so hard.
That's way too hard.
20 after 6, more of your calls next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowey and Timmy G. Get a coach's perspective each week on the 5AA Sports Show when Rowey and Timmy G chat with Scott Camporeale for Coach's Corner. Thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods, proudly baking for hundreds of South Australian businesses for 35 years. See the difference.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low-maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
The sun takes its toll on everything, but cover things up and they last longer. Well, the same goes for you. 2 in 3 Aussies will be diagnosed with skin cancer, which kills twice as many men as women. So check the UV every day, then slip on a shirt, slop on some sunscreen, slap on a hat, seek some shade, and slide on your sunnies. Download the SunSmart app today and stay SunSmart. A message from Cancer Council SA and the Government of South Australia.
Discover what is on the road less travelled at Mazda's home in the hills, Mount Barker Mazda. The Mazda CX-3 stock clearance is on now, with CX-3s available from just $29,990 drive away, with stock available for immediate delivery. We won't be beaten on price. Must end soon. T's and C's at mountbarkermazda.com.au. For unbeatable prices on CX-3s, take the road less travelled to Mount Barker Mazda. Great service since 1954. Mount Barker Road, Totnes. LMVD 325189.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
Since I got these new shoes from Gilmore's, I can do even more dance moves. Here, hold my phone.
Oh, Grandma, do we have to do this here?
Oh, don't be silly. The light is great. I've got more than 80 followers, you know. You're out with an influencer.
My grandma, the influencer. Just wow.
Well, you can thank Gilmore's for that. My followers love seeing the new shoes I've bought.
I know. I've read some of the comments. Actually pretty good.
I told you I'm trending.
Ugh. Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
With more stores close to home and everyday low prices, great food lives at Foodland, the mighty South Aussies.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
It's 24 minutes after 6, driving with Dixon very, very shortly after 6:30.
Just on that, before we go to Tony and Johnny, how cold have the mornings been?
Embracing.
What do you mean?
Well, you go out into it and you feel the wind straight away.
Oh, I'm bracing. I've got
Very
my
bracing.
vest puffer jacket out for the first time today.
I did see it today. Yeah.
Because I love puffers.
I've never worn one of those without the sleeves. It's just the...
Oh, the vest one,
Sleeveless
outstanding.
vest,
Why is that?
Because, well,
What does it
when
do?
you're fat,
Warms the chest.
puff on puff, oh, they're magnificent.
Yeah,
Don't have to do them up, but they're just...
So you don't
keep
care
your
about your
shoulders.
arms?
Big fan.
No, you don't need your arms.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's too
I'm
hot
keen-
with arms.
I'm keen to keep my arms.
Puff on puff. It's like denim on denim.
Oh, double denim, mate.
Is it?
Just looking across...
Were you a double denim kid?
I've never worn a double denim, but just looking across the 5AA panel here to my left,
yes,
if you're on the Foodland live stream, is our man Sammy.
Correct.
Who's a bit of a fashionista. He's wearing jeans with sneakers.
Yeah, I am. Oh, they're
Sneezes?
Well,
hold them up the Foodland
they're
live
cuffed
stream.
pants. They're not exactly jeans. They look like jeans.
You
but
can't wear jeans and sneakers,
They
mate.
can. We established that a long time
you?
ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Remember
You do,
I did
Timmy.
it?
But I'm
and
not
I won
wearing
the poll.
not wearing full jeans. These are jean-looking cuffed pants.
Well, I'm puffer.
That's my excuse
I'm puffer.
today. I'll run with that.
I got a feeling looking at the live stream now that none of us should be talking fashion.
No, but where am I going? Hey, hang on. Where did you go today? Where'd you go today?
I went to Ignition for Men.
And I'm going there tomorrow.
And that's a big test for them.
We're going to
It's
have
a big test. Daniel is onto it.
Yeah, we're going to have a dress off.
Correct. Me, you, and Treaders.
Oh God!
Looking
Hello,
forward
Tony
to
at Morse Lakes. Do you wear puffer on puffer, mate?
Yeah, just wanted to talk a couple of things through, guys. I think it's with the Crows, it's speed of ball movement from the middle to the forward line. We've only got lead up forwards in Fog and Tex, and if the ball's not coming as quick as it needs to, then their timing for the leads is out, and the defenders are flooding. Their opponents are flooding back. They got no room to move, and it becomes chaos. The other thing quickly is successful teams have goal-kicking midfielders and wingers. Who are the Crows' goal-kicking midfielders and wingers?
Here's another stat, Tony, that Campo said, but there were so many of them. We're the Crows are the 18th. Crows are the 18th team for number of goal kickers per game, which is 5.5. Tony, two magnificent conversations there and ideas, speed of ball movement, and the other one, they need goal kickers.
Mm-hmm.
They need kickers from the wing. They need midfielders. Mate, it's a massive problem, Tony. Well done. Thank
Well
you.
done. Let's go to John at Nord. G'day, John.
Johnny!
How you going, Timmy?
How you going, Scooterhead? It's still here, mate.
No, it's not. I picked it up at lunchtime today, mate.
Well, you were meant... Johnny, you were meant to call me.
I did. I called you last night, but you can still have it if you want it.
No,
it's a magnificent bit of machinery.
How good is
No,
it?
you deserve it, John.
From Stein.
you won it fair and square,
I was going to buy
John.
it off him.
You
I'm
won
gonna-
it fair and square.
Yeah, fair square. No, fair cool.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
give you a
but-
couple of cartons of black guts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Listen, my point of call is Graham Wright has done a fantastic job at Collingwood. I can't work out the Crows don't pick up the phone and have a talk to him, because he'd be the ideal bloke to clean out Adelaide, the list management and recruiting, because he'd done a fantastic job. He moved Buckley on, had a good talk to him. Things weren't happening. And I tell you what, I can't believe they should be picking the phone up and having a yarn to him.
Well, good call, John. He's on long service leave, so if ever there's a time to ring him,
is now.
It's right now. He's the GM of footy there, and he's got long service leave.
All right, it's time for us to get going at 28 after
Fickle.
6. Charlie
Fickle.
Dixon's going to join you next for Driving with Dixon. Back tomorrow at 4.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowey and Timmy G. 5AA Nights with Leap Forest.
Gives me great pleasure to welcome the original voice of Siri, Susan Bennett. If you're ordering pizza,